Why are there so many shows starring Muppets and dozens of movies too? They said they'd watch everyone and they mean it. It's something that they've got to do. So now they've pledged you a lifelong commitment. Muppets, Matthew and Sam.
Welcome to Commitment, the podcast for two friends who vowed to watch all things Muppets. I'm Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And this week, we are revisiting some old friends over on Sesame Street as we continue through the fall of 1987, where it feels like we've been forever.
Well, yeah, we finally got into some 88 material this time. But then we have to go back to 87, right?
Right.
Okay.
That's the thing, is we keep going a little forward and then a little back. And then a little
trapped.
forward and a little back.
Here. Have we said this is the year we've been in the longest? Is that right? Or is that not right?
I don't think that's even true. I think 85 was maybe the year we were in the longest.
Okay.
I have to do the math again.
Sure.
But it does feel like we've been here the longest.
Yeah,
it seems like this era of from our births, maybe it's a weird, we're trapped in a time bubble.
Uh-huh.
After we caught up to where we were born in the time stream, it's like, now you can't leave.
Oh, no. So in like 200 episodes, we'll still somehow be in 1987.
Yeah, somehow. We'll just be watching second by second
We'll
of
start,
Muppet Babies.
Yeah, we'll start doing one episode every episode. One episode of Muppet
God.
Babies per episode.
We can't become a Muppet Babies podcast.
I would love to not ever even look at them again. And it's even more. This is something that I've talked about before, but Sesame Street, also a show for babies.
Yeah.
And
but
not,
as we'll talk about,
it's not bad.
Yeah, we'll talk about this week. A very good show for babies.
Yeah.
We were recently at a Thanksgiving dinner together, and I overheard you talking to somebody at the dinner about Muppet Babies. I heard your exasperation of you having to tell them that you were not yet halfway done with Muppet Babies.
Oh, yeah. That every episode you tell me we're like 0.5% more done with Muppet Babies.
Because it's just true.
I know, but it shouldn't be true. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Nobody should be in the situation that we're in. It's humiliating cosmically and every other way that something can be humiliating.
Well, we're here today to talk about a better baby show, because what's happening in the fall of 1987 is the beginning of season 19 of Sesame Street. And if you've never heard one of our Sesame Street episodes, what we usually do is watch about 2 to 3 hours of stuff. That's a mix of clips from the season, sort of a greatest hits. We also try to watch one full episode from the season. Usually it's the season premiere, but for content reasons, this time we actually watched the season finale. And I need to give a huge shout out to friend of the show, Shane, who's at Sock Drawer on social media, who helped me out with this playlist. He is a Muppet aficionado. He knows way more about us than Muppets, and specifically Sesame Street. And just mentioning to him in our Patreon Discord, like, hey, I'm starting to work on putting together the playlist for our next Sesame Street episode. He was like, if you need any help, let me know. And like a day later, he was like, here's everything you need to watch for season 19.
Wow. This is
with notes. And it was just like having somebody like this on our team to help us out like this is great, because he adds context. He is also responsible for a lot of the work that goes into Muppet Wiki. I know there's a lot of people who work on that, but he is the reason he knows a lot of these things is because he's probably added these facts to Muppet Wiki in the past.
Yeah,
so
this is a really nice, well-balanced playlist. I feel like some of the stuff we watched in the past has been like all songs, which can get kind of annoying, or like you said before, no Elmo. There's some great Elmo in this one. How could you hate Elmo after watching this stuff? It's hilarious.
Oh my God. Elmo in the finale is perfection.
That was amazing.
But yes, huge thanks to Shane, who I am sure I will be asking for help every time we hit another season of Sesame Street. But before we get into talking about Sesame Street too much, Sam, you know what time it is?
Christmas time?
It's Christmas time. You feeling Christmassy? You
I am.
decorating? You watching the movies?
We were out on the town yesterday, me and my wife. I had to see Wicked again for the second time because I didn't see it with Rachel when I
Oh,
went.
I was like, why'd you have to?
Well, I had to. It's my husbandly duty to see Wicked.
You saw it with a 5-year-old before, and now you have to go see it with your wife.
Yeah, less stressful to see it with my wife than with a 5-year-old for sure. But so then we went into the mall, the greater mall, as it were, because the theater here is attached sort of to the mall. But yeah, we went into the mall and there was Christmas lights everywhere. Our mall is always packed because I feel like we have one of the last healthy malls in the country or something like that.
Well, I
People
mean,
in
we also have like
Missoula-
the only mall for 800 miles or
That's
whatever.
true. That's true. But I feel like people in Missoula, we love our mall. We respect our mall. We support our mall. And yeah, there was tons of people there doing their Christmas shopping. And it really felt like this year feels like a year where like I don't feel compelled to buy all my stuff online. Like I want to go and try to find stuff in town. I don't know if that's like something in the air, but it just feels like people were out shopping. And then we went to the Missoula Tea Company, which is downtown. Billion people out doing Christmas shopping. Missoula Tea Company was like packed. It was like swimming through a big crowd of people who are all buying tea for their loved ones. So yeah, it feels like everybody's kind of ready for Christmas this year.
I mean, this was also Black Friday weekend.
Yeah,
that
that's
we're
true.
recording
It was
this,
Small Business
so-
Saturday, of course.
Right. So we also did a bunch of shopping yesterday at a bunch of local businesses. But yeah, I mean, I'm feeling Christmassy, watching Christmas movies already. We got our tree up. We got all of our like interior decorations are up. We don't have any external ones up right now, but should probably do that soon.
It's going to be really cold soon.
Well, yeah, and it's just, we bought our lights for our old house, and then we moved into a new house, which got like a different roof.
Mm-hmm.
And so the light situation is much
It's
more
just different.
challenging
Okay.
to like reach
Do
properly.
you get up on a ladder?
Yeah, I do.
Yikes, scary. I hate getting
Yeah.
up on a ladder.
Yeah, and like the first year we were in this house, I put them all over the roof. Like they were everywhere. And then the second year I was like, what if we just did like half of the house?
Yeah, that was too scary.
Yeah.
I've had a year to think about what will happen to me.
I've watched Christmas Vacation too many times.
Yeah.
I could just see myself falling off that ladder.
Yeah. I feel like we could have done a better job with how to get up high than in the ladder. We could have invented something better.
We're working on jetpacks, Sam.
They just don't seem right. I need
Give
a
us a
cherry
few
picker.
years. I mean, yeah, you could just get a cherry picker. That would obviously be the more expensive but safer option. We need like compact cherry pickers.
Yeah. Or stilts. I could get stilts.
Ooh. That
That's
feels way more dangerous
That's
than a
less
ladder.
dangerous than a ladder.
I just don't know how you get down from stilts.
That's a great question.
I don't know how you get up on stilts either, to be fair. But like
I don't know.
once you're up there, do you just
I feel so
I don't know. I don't
sure-
know. Like
I feel so sure that somebody who's listening to this right now uses stilts regularly. So please-
regularly.
yeah.
You think we
Please
got a
write it.
stilter
I bet-
listening?
I bet I'm going out on a limb here. I bet somebody who listens to the show is a character at Halloween Horror Nights.
Wow.
In LA, and they're one of the stilt walking crow people. That's my very specific.
That's a
guess.
very, very
If
specific.
you are a stilt walking crow person who works at Halloween Horror Nights, please tell us how you get up.
This is
and
our
down
target
from these
demographic,
stilts.
is what Sam is
That's all I
saying.
want is characters. Yeah.
Or if you're listening out there, advertisers who want to advertise on commitment, whoa, stop knocking down the door. But our demo is really one stilt walker at Universal Hollywood Horror Nights.
Yeah, if that helps you do your narrow casting at all.
Yeah, even if you're not that specific crow person, which is that a scarecrow? Is that what when you say crow
they're
person?
they're like almost like plague doctors or something. They have like
Oh,
big
okay. So
bird
like more like
masks.
bird crow. I didn't know if you were
Yeah.
trying to like make up a cool word for scarecrows.
no, a crow person. That's
Yeah.
like my PC way to say scarecrow.
One guy said he sees Wicked 2 times, and he's like, I got a cool scarecrow
person.
word.
Yeah. No, a crow, the animal,
Gotcha.
a raven person. Is that more?
Right.
Is that more better for you?
Sure.
That's probably more what they are, because ravens
Yeah.
are scary. They're
yeah.
like that's like the most direct Pokemon evolution in the real world. I feel like is like raven to crow. They're the same animal. One's
Yeah,
just
someone
one's
who's
just
been in a
bigger.
small room with a raven before, they're terrifying.
They're scary.
But yeah, even if you're not that one specific stilt walker, but you've ever used stilts, I am honestly curious, and you should write in either to our email, mail@commitment.com, or hit us up on Blue Sky, and let us know how stilts work.
Yeah, I feel like maybe a stepladder. I don't know. I'm not sure. You
Oh,
gotta
I
have.
bet
I
they
would
got
think you'd
something.
have to have a stepladder.
Maybe they have a really tall chair that they like sit back. What I'm picturing is like a stool that's adjustable, but like up to 10 feet.
Uh-huh.
Like it just goes, and they sit
it's
back
an
on it.
automatic stool.
Yeah, well, no, there's a little like crank on
like
the side.
a barber chair.
Yeah,
kinda,
but really tall. So
Right.
they crank it all the way up. They sit on it, and then they.
Yeah. And the thing about stilts is the stilts are cheap, but that chair costs like $25,000.
You can get up there, but if you want to get down,
that's where they get you. That's how they get
there's just
you.
a guy waiting at the stilt dealer.
Uh-huh.
He's like, "There you go. You can take it for a test drive.
Yeah.
Only $12." And you get up there, and he's like,
come
"All
back.
right, now
You
wanna
come
get
back
down?
several days later. You're like, please, please help me.
My house isn't built for this."
So Christmas, eh?
So Christmas, after we just add to the long list of things we don't know about, which stilts, hot air balloons.
Honestly, I don't know that much about Christmas, probably, if you came right down to it.
Well, we know, I think, how to celebrate it.
Yeah.
I guess specifically garish Christmas.
Yeah, tacky
sort of
Christmas is what we
Tacky
do.
Christmas
Apparently.
is a trend now that is
Yeah.
just my life.
Yeah, it doesn't look any different than what I do. You know what I saw at the mall? Taz sweatshirts at Hollister.
Oh, dang.
And me and Rachel were both like, we're cool again. It's finally
It's back.
happened. Yeah.
The problem is, much like when we were teens, if we saw a person that was like a dad aged wearing the teen clothes, we'd be like,
Yeah.
look at this
What a
loser.
loser.
And now we're the dad age.
Yeah.
And the clothes we liked as kids are now cool. And so we're drawn
yeah.
to them. But if we wear them, we're going to be Steve Buscemi.
But there's
from the
not even a
meme.
thought in my head that is like, this wouldn't be cool to do.
Oh,
The only
that's
thought
the
in my head
danger.
is like,
This is why you got me, Sam.
the only thought in my head is, I have a Taz sweater. I could wear that again. It was a Taz sweater with like Argyle. It was like exactly the kind of thing you'd find at like Walmart back in the day or whatever. I don't know where we were getting all those Looney Tune clothes, but the Looney Tunes, the Warner Brothers catalog is probably where.
Warner Brothers store, which was a thing.
Yeah, time to bring it back. Hurry up, Warner Brothers. Bring back the catalog. Bring back the store.
Our mall has some open slots.
The teens are craving Taz.
This is, a Taz renaissance is really,
It's upon
I feel
us.
like maybe I don't know if that Looney Tunes movie ever does finally come out. He's got a part in that.
The Coyote versus Roadrunner one or whatever?
No, that one's, I think, dead in the
that
water.
one got
I'm talking
deleted from everything, I'm pretty
about
sure. Yeah.
the Day the Earth Blew Up one.
Oh, yeah. That's done, right?
Yeah, it's done. It's supposed to be released in February, which actually comes up later on in my notes about this batch of Sesame Street things.
All right.
Yeah, which I guess we should just get to. So, Sam, what did we watch this week?
I did my best, but we watched so much stuff.
I was going to say, I was just, as I was asking that, I was like, how is he gonna say this?
We watched a whole bunch of Sesame Street from the 19th season of the show, which ran from November 1987 to May 1988. On January 14th, 1988, well, I'll just go over some of the highlights that we watched. On January 14th, 1988, Ronald Grump, a grouch real estate developer. Well, I don't know why you made us watch this one. Sock Drawer and Matt.
To be fair, this one is on me, not on Sock Drawer. It just felt culturally relevant.
You kind of have to. So Ronald Grump comes to Oscar with a proposal to buy the land that his trash can sits on to build Grump Towers, which is basically a pile of trash cans that several grouches can live in. It's just a high-rise apartment building for grouches. More like, what are those called? Townhouses. It's grouch townhouses. Oscar signs away the land for 3 bags of trash. Later, the tower is built and Oscar moves in. However, when Ronald sees Slimy and Fluffy, who's Oscar's pet elephant, that I'm not sure that we've seen before this point, but maybe have mentioned before, he tells Oscar that the contract he signed states that there are no pets allowed and that he either has to get rid of them or pay 40 bags of trash to buy his land back. This would wipe out Oscar's life savings, but Maria finds out what's going on and rallies the people of Sesame Street together to donate their trash to Oscar, ultimately succeeding in saving Slimy and Fluffy. On January 27th, 1988, Big Bird and Snuffy noticed that Luis and Maria held hands when crossing the street, and the savvy viewer will notice that they also held hands in the Ronald Grump episode. I noticed them doing that too. But anyway, holding hands while crossing the street is something that Big Bird and Snuffy didn't think that grown-ups had to do. They thought that was just for children's safety. So they split up and confront Luis and Maria about this. And while they're talking to Big Bird and Snuffy, Maria and Luis realize independently that they are in love. Then they go and find each other and confess to each other that they are indeed in love. And then on May 13th, 1988, the season 19 finale, Maria and Luis get married. And with the exception that there are monsters, a vampire, a sentient 8-foot-tall bird present, and everyone keeps busting out into song, it basically goes pretty normally. It's just like a very normal wedding, but with weird guys there. Other highlights from this season include Snuffy introducing his baby sister Alice around the street, Cookie Monster rapping about healthy food, the whole street banding together to sing a song to Oscar about how much he hates being sung to, and the final time that Jim's Kermit and Grover will be in a segment together. And that's a relationship that goes back to like the 60s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some of those. I think there's an Ed Sullivan show where the first Grover puppet is interacting with Kermit. So
yeah, and then we'll watch a bunch of other stuff that I'm sure we'll talk about right now.
Well, elsewhere in season 19, which did air from November 16th, 1987 to May 13th, 1988, the theme of the season was love and marriage.
Is that weird? That felt weird. It kept coming up. I was like, I don't know. Maybe it just feels weirder to me in like 2024 when it's like, do I need to define what marriage is? Does anybody really know what marriage is?
Well, yeah, it does get into challenging conversations depending on who you're asking to define marriage.
Right.
But when you're asking cute kids and you're Grover, it goes all right.
Sure, that's true.
It seemed like from what I read about some of the episodes we didn't watch is that sort of the point of this episode was the point of this season was to clarify to children different kinds of love. So that like you can love your toys, you can love your best friend, you can love your mom. When you grow up, you can love a boyfriend, a girlfriend, whatever. But like those are different. And talking about how like, you know, saying like, oh, I love my toy fire truck and I love this girl or I love this boy is different.
Okay.
And sort of I think leveling some importance on the word itself, which is why Maria and Luis's moment of like, oh, I love her is such a big thing because I think they built that up throughout the season of like love is a big important word. But elsewhere in this season, Gina becomes a full-time member of the cast.
I was like, who is this? And then I started looking into her. She's around forever. She's around until 2016.
Like still around. Yeah, from time to time. Gina, played by Allison Bartlett, who at the time was like 15, 16 or something like that when she first joined Sesame Street. And yeah, she's hired to assist David at Hooper's store.
I like her. She's kind of like, hey, what's going on? I'm Gina.
I feel like I'm gonna forget names because that's how my brain works. But I feel like they introduced like a cool teen who breakdanced a few seasons ago.
That sounds right to me too.
And they were like, "Yeah, here's our cool teen." And clearly that didn't work out, so maybe they were just like, "Let's dial it back."
Yeah, here's just
and
a
just do
teen.
Normal teen.
Yeah.
Bob's friend Hiroshi makes an appearance, visiting from Japan. Hiroshi is played by Getty Watanabe from 16 Candles and UHF.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay.
And he will actually join the cast in the next 2 seasons, I think, as like a recurring character.
Do they reference that Bob is a Japanese superstar?
I don't know, but I kind of forgot about that until just now. That yeah,
I never forget about that. It's the only thing I think about.
I did forget that Bob was a singing sensation in Japan. Like, so yeah, I don't know if they say, hey, yeah, Bob's friend Hiroshi, who he met while traveling the world and singing.
Yeah.
Or if it's just, hey, I have a friend named Hiroshi who's visiting from Japan.
That would be Oh, that'd be great. If Bob in America was just like living the most modest life. He's like, this is the head of my fan club in Japan. It has 2 million members, and everyone's
Hiroshi's like,
what?
you guys don't understand the superstar you are living on the street with.
The
This dude-
disrespect this giant bird is showing to Bob.
Yeah.
It can't stand.
He sings for free here? You guys don't have to pay to see him? This is amazing. But yeah, I couldn't actually find any of the season 19 clips of Hiroshi where like he was introduced or anything for us to watch. So we will see some more Hiroshi, I think, in season 20, but couldn't find the moment where he's actually introduced. So not sure whether or not Bob's travels are mentioned.
Okay.
Jay Leno also dropped by Sesame Street
Wow.
for an episode. And in one episode, Snuffy walks Barkley, which sounds like hell for the
A
puppeteers.
logistical nightmare.
On a more serious note, I feel like it's worth noting that this is David's second to last season due to both mental health and drug issues for Northern Calloway, who plays David. You can read a lot more about this in the Michael Davis book, Street Gang. I just wanted to pull up some quotes here because Gina joining the cast is relevant to this. So basically, Sesame Street producer Dulcie Singer said at one point that lithium took Northern's zest away, and he became heavily sedated and put on a great deal of weight. So basically, again, this is all quotes from other people, not me saying this, but because he was going through a lot of mental health issues, like bipolar disorder, he was put on a lot of medicine that was sort of sedating him. Basically, it felt like the Sesame Street team and the doctors disagreed about how best to take care of Northern Calloway. But apparently the news of Luis and Maria's relationship was devastating to Northern Calloway, who, you know, had played David, like, and Maria had played boyfriend and girlfriend on the show for a
back in
while.
the beginning.
Yeah. And so that apparently hit him hard. And then I think, you know, that was just a part of a lot of other things going on. But after filming had wrapped for season 20, they decided they had to fire him. Now, in the book, Street Gang, it mentions that they sat down and fired him. On Muppet Wiki, it's a little bit more passive, saying that he left the show. So because Street Gang, the book, dives a little deeper, I'm going to trust that source a little bit. They specifically lay out like where and when they went to fire him. But yeah, it's multiple times throughout the book, it says things like he had become useless on the set and a burden. And the last time they really used him, he had only one line to say because he couldn't remember a second sentence. They'd shoot one sentence at a time and then change the camera angle. And that was Carol Spinney saying that. But Allison Bartlett, who played Gina, also had some issues with Northern, who one day showed up at her high school unannounced and proposed marriage to her.
Jeez.
Yeah. And so because of that, and another incident where he bit the music coordinator, Jenny Epstein, on the set, they had decided to basically in the book, they word it as he had gotten too many second chances. Because for those that may not remember, we talked about this way back in 1980. Northern Calloway actually had some run-ins with the police where he was running around naked and had to be
I didn't realize
arrested.
that was a different thing than him getting fired. Okay.
Yeah, that was back in like 1980 that happened.
Wow.
And the Sesame Street team, it seemed like, had been trying to support him and help him as much as they could. But between, you know, struggling with mental health issues and drug use, there wasn't a lot they could do to help him. And he dies in January of 1990. So just in a couple years, about just over 2 years from what we've watched this week. So yeah, we do have one more season of David to enjoy, but I just wanted to throw that out there because the character Gina and David interact quite a bit in the clips we watched.
Yeah.
And it seems like there were times later on, at least in the seasons, where they had to sort of, people on set were not super stoked about working with Northern Calloway.
Right.
But getting into all of the things we watched this week, which if you have our spreadsheet, it's like 27 things, I think, varying lengths from, 14 seconds to an hour long. But the first thing we watched is a Bert and Ernie sketch from November 16th, 1987, which is the season premiere, 2356. And this one's called Feelings Game, where Bert's dusting off his paperclip collection and hurts Ernie's feelings by not wanting to play a game with him right now because he's busy.
But it's a classic Ernie trick him up because he's really playing the game, Bert doesn't even
Yes.
know it. He's playing
He was
3D chess?
4D
4D chess? Oh,
All
yeah.
chess is 3D chess.
Well,
I guess
no.
Microsoft chess wasn't.
You can play 2D chess.
You
and
can play
2D
2D chess.
chess. And in Star Wars, Star Trek, and in
Yep.
Star Trek, they play 3D chess, I think. Is it 3D chess or 4D chess?
I feel like people say 4D chess when they joke about
3D chess. Who's to say? Anyway, that's what Ernie's playing. Ernie's on a different-
Tri-dimensional chess set. So I guess that is 3D. They just didn't want to say 3D.
That's what they're that's what they're playing in Star Trek.
Yes. So basically, Ernie gets real sad, and Bert's like, "Oh my God, you're sad, Ernie." He's like, "Ha, gotcha. I was pretending to be sad, and you guessed it right. You're so good at this game." So Bert gets more frustrated, and then Ernie pretends he's angry now after Bert refuses to play the game again, and then Bert gets actually angry at Ernie because once Bert pretends to be angry, he gives him a point because he also guesses that Bert is angry. So it's a runaround.
Just a
thing.
classic Bert's life's a nightmare kind of situation. I like at the end when Bert just succumbs to complete depression and sadness and his head is down, and Ernie's like, "Now you're disenchanted." And then Bert goes, "What?" That's a good little off script moment, I feel.
Yeah. Of Frank being like, "Really? You mean disenchanted?"
You're gonna say the word disenchanted? Yeah. Yeah, I like that Bert and Ernie are still on this show. It seems like something they could easily had just say, "Well, we've recorded 2,000 skits, so you don't need us anymore." But they're still here, and they're still just as good as ever. The one where Bert's singing with those sheep, that's some great Bert content.
No, I think we watched, if not all, very close to all of the Bert and Ernie things they did for this season. And it is a bummer to know that, next season or the season after, we will be watching the last Jim and Frank Bert and Ernie.
Yeah. I did feel like they could have maybe shown up to Luis and Maria's wedding, though they were there, or at least Bert is there. I don't know if you see.
I think they're both there. I think they both get camera time. But there's a weird selection of Muppets that are either not at the wedding or are surprisingly calm.
Yeah, right, because they're not being puppeteered by puppeteers, perhaps, it seems like.
I mean, probably puppeteers, but like third tier, not, I don't think Jim and Frank showed up for the wedding where they don't speak.
Right. I think it would have been nice if Jim and Frank's characters had been there talking a couple times in that part. Maybe I would have tried to make that call if I was Joan Ganscooney, be like, "Hey, you guys gotta be here just one day to talk to Maria and Luis, please."
Joan Ganscooney, who just celebrated her 95th birthday.
Wow.
Yesterday as we're recording this.
Oh, happy birthday to you.
Yeah. Watching the Bert and Ernie stuff, I think they were all sort of my favorites of this batch.
Yeah.
And I think we get some fun insight into their psyches.
Yeah. They spend some time apart from each other.
Yes.
Which does give you like an interesting, how they miss each other when they're gone is very different.
Right. I think we've talked before about the gremlins we become when our wives are not home and we just eat everything in the house.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're more on the Ernie side of things, maybe.
If Bert had showed back up when Ernie was alone, he would have been like, "What on earth are you doing?"
Yes.
And Bert was being pretty normal because Bert's used to being alone. So that is like his gremlin side is just, he would just like really be dusting those paper clips, I guess. He wouldn't be doing anything. Or he'd be doing something really fucking weird that we can't see.
I mean, to be fair, it seems like Bert has a much better time when Ernie is away than Ernie has when Bert is away.
Yes, he does not spend a lot of time missing Ernie. He just comments on the fact that he's gone, then invites a bunch of sheep to sleep in his bed.
Whoa, he invites them to sleep in Ernie's bed.
Yeah.
They choose to sleep in his bed.
Right. That's what I mean. He invites them to sleep in Ernie's bed.
But the next thing we watched was Pee Wee Herman reciting the alphabet.
Yes.
Also from the season premiere.
Pee Wee, big star right now, I imagine. His show premiered last year or maybe the year before? 1986.
Yeah. So big star.
Yep.
It's basically just him being Pee Wee, saying the letters, and then sort of throwing them around the set as they're like digitally presented.
Yeah. Something clearly done by his production staff, I would say, because that is those animations are very similar to the kind of thing that happens throughout his show. And he's on his set. So
Yeah. My favorite is I would say 90% of the letters are animated in very clear, fun ways.
Uh-huh.
And then it feels like there's like 10% where the team was like, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them, he'll like toss the C and then it'll like go into his pocket, or
Yeah.
he'll toss the R and it'll
Go
run
out
out
the
the window,
window, yeah.
or shoot up into the sky or something like that.
That's not
And there's
just any
some,
window, Matt. That's Mr. Window. Okay.
sorry, got to put respect on his name.
Yeah.
But there's times where he'll like take the K and just like toss it, and then it just like fades out as it goes to the right. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, okay. Like they were like, we don't want to think of 26 fun
Yeah.
ideas.
A couple just also disappear. They just bonk, blink out.
But other ones like twirl around his head, and I'm like, oh, that's more complicated.
Yeah. I think there's this in the Max Headroom alphabet, and I think I'm a little disappointed in them because I'd rather they just be talking to, like, I wanted to see Elmo talk to Max Headroom, you know? Like,
Oh God,
maybe
no,
Max
no,
Headroom's
no.
on like a little television screen, like, hi Elmo.
Elmo.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Or I wanted Pee Wee to be hanging out with Kermit or something, but instead he's just in his playhouse.
Yeah, I think it's just like a nice little cameo thing that you can get people to agree to do,
Sure.
especially if they're on their own set. Like, hey, you're
Sure.
already filming. Can you
Yeah.
just record the alphabet for us?
It is interesting the choices that they make too, because Pee Wee is a children's character at this point,
Mm-hmm.
though he has significant like adult appeal. But Max Headroom, I think, probably just for grown-ups. I don't know.
I really feel like, as much as I love the idea of Max Headroom, I know so little about the actual presentation.
Every
Max
time I
Headroom.
think about him, I read his Wikipedia page, and it doesn't really clarify things anymore for me.
Same. Like, they're like, oh yeah, the first computer-generated TV presenter. And I'm like, all right, but he wasn't, so that's his whole shtick. But like, how does that make a show?
How did he become in the first place? Like, so he's like from a TV movie, but is it also a Pee Wee situation where this guy was like doing the Max Headroom shtick before that TV movie and he brought it to them? That's the things that I don't really
How
understand.
parallel are the paths of Max Headroom and Pee Wee Herman?
Yes, exactly. Are they basically, I don't know. And then you get to the part where it's like, this happened in England, and you're like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense as to why I don't understand it at all.
I just, like, a TV series I can almost wrap my head around. A TV movie about Max Headroom.
It was both, I think.
Well, yeah, but the fact that they did a TV movie, my brain just doesn't know what that is.
And then to me, the thing that gets weirder is that he is more famous for being the spokesman of New Coke. Like, that jump is weird.
Yeah.
I guess I just need to watch, I need to do Max Headroom and watch every Max Headroom thing and see if I can piece this together. But I think it's like you just had to be there. You just had to be in 1988 and experience it for yourself to really understand why Max Headroom ended up on Sesame Street. Something he shouldn't have been allowed to do, in my opinion. He's scary.
He is. That was a moment where I was watching a bunch of these clips. My wife is sitting next to me on the couch. She's on her laptop doing her own work, and Max Headroom popped up, and she just looked up and went, "Nope." Just nope. This sucks. This is terrible.
And in low definition, his eyes really burn through they are so clear, and the rest of him is so. But he's got these yellow ringed little eyes that just really look into the child's soul, I would imagine.
Well, the next thing we watched was from November 17th, 1987. It's called Counting on the Weather, from episode 2357. The Count's grandparents are in town. We got Grandpa Count and Grandma Count, played by Richard Hunt and Camille Bonora. What do you think of Count's grandparents?
I remember you mentioning several years ago that he had this whole family and different things happen whenever they count. And since then, I've been wondering how that is implemented into the show. But
or if we missed it.
It being implemented by making Luis look like a giant jackass is pretty good. I mostly like Luis through this one, where he's just like, clearly, I feel like this season, and maybe it probably is always like this, but I feel like this stuff that we watched really leaned into the I'm so sorry that I asked this question, and now I have to deal with this puppet making my life miserable. But Luis's face throughout this, as he's just like, dear God, this is still going. And now I'm getting snowed on, and now I'm getting rained on, and now I'm getting
gets the most water dumped on him at the end of this.
Yeah. That was the part that was my favorite. But yeah, I like that Count was so present in this season too, and that like he is
Mm.
part of their wedding and just a guy on the street. That's where when Bert's alone later, Ernie is at Count's house too. So everybody
Yeah,
likes
just having a
hanging out with the
sleepover.
Count. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we would have talked about that back in October of 2021.
Oh wow.
In episode 30 is when we did the Count as the Muppet of the Week.
I remember so little about anything in my life, but I remember that so clearly.
It does. When it happened, I think my brain went to, well, this isn't the first time we're seeing this.
Yeah.
But in reality, it is.
Yeah.
We just talked about it forever ago.
Right.
But yeah, this was, getting a few sketches into this batch. During this, I was really like, I have missed Sesame Street.
Yeah.
And I have missed the Count because this is just fantastic.
There's just that cleverness to it where that Muppet Babies doesn't have, where you are teaching a thing. You're teaching different weather and you're teaching counting, but it's not completely unpleasant to look at. and that they're like in on the joke in a way that isn't like disrespectful, because like I do feel like sometimes Muppet Babies can get a little not only is it bad to watch, but like when they're appealing to adults, they can get a little bit too nasty, maybe like too mean, or like they just like there's an ennui around Muppet Babies that doesn't exist in this show.
It's because they're trapped in this weird nursery that they can never escape from, and I think we know it and they know it.
Yeah, well, the Sesame Street people, we've seen them be all over the world. They're free to leave whenever they want. But yeah, so this is just like, this doesn't feel like, this truly feels like an adult and a child can watch it. Yeah. And there's different levels you can understand and appreciate things, but it's like not bad for either person, whereas Muppet Babies is bad for everyone.
The only thing bad in this is Grandma's neck.
Well,
Grandma Count's neck is very long and skinny in a way that it feels like very detached from her body. And I'm like, I can just see the arm in there. The next thing we watched was from November 19th, 1987, from episode 2359, Hill Street Twos.
This one's
a play
interesting
on
to me.
Hill Street Blues.
Yeah.
Why so interesting?
Well, okay. So they're Hill Street Twos. The chief wants them to pair up in teams of two to go out on the streets. Some of the things the chief says, though, really pinging me oddly when he's like...
I mean, the last line of this is really troubling.
For sure. Well, first of all, it's interesting to see Ernie and Grover as a pair. That's not something that you see very often, is it?
Well, that didn't bother me as much as seeing them in an official police uniform.
Yes, that they're cops. I mean, any politics aside, those two people shouldn't be police officers. The Grover should not have a gun.
Grover doesn't know what a bus is. He can't be a cop.
Yeah, don't give this man a firearm. But so that was like just one thing that stuck out to me is Grover and Ernie. Doesn't seem like something that I've seen before, but I probably have.
Yeah. You know why?
Why?
Usually they're the two characters who are making
guys.
Problems for another character. So like Ernie is making problems for Bert, or Grover's making problems for Mr. Johnson or Kermit or somebody else.
Right.
So it's like that's two, you can't put those two forces together. They repel like a magnet.
They have nothing to offer each other, basically.
That's why they had to put them in an official like uniform capacity, because they're like, we need to hold them in place because they're too chaotic if we just let them be themselves.
Yeah. So yeah, seeing them dressed as police officers, weird. Seeing them together, kind of weird. But there's a part they're like pairing up in different numbers to try to get to two, but they're all too stupid to know what two is. So there's one part where there's one team of one guy, and the chief is like, "Do you think that's smart in these streets?" And that's number one. Like, what?
Yeah.
And then number two at the end, the chief is like, "Get out there and get them before they get us." Huh?
And Grover is like, "Excuse me, Sergeant. Can you explain what that means?" And he does not receive clarification.
Just get out of here.
Yeah, no, that get out there and get them before they get us was really troubling.
Yeah, and it's 1988, so this is not a commentary on anything, I'd imagine.
You said that so confidently.
Well, you think it could be?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there could be some slight, nod to something that we just were 3 months old and didn't understand.
I guess you're right.
things happened back then.
Yeah, but it's just a very fraught concept. It didn't have to be, though. It's
No.
perfectly fine to not say that line, and then the rest of the
Yes.
thing is just like not troubling at all. But that's
Except
not
when
what
the sergeant yells, "Rubber duckies don't count,"
they did. Yeah.
because Ernie tries to be like, I am in twos. It's
Here's
me
my
and
friend,
Rubber
the rubber
Ducky.
ducky, who I
Figured it
brought to
out.
work with me as a police officer.
Doesn't count.
So do you think that was like his first and last day as a police officer? Were they both fired immediately after that skit is over?
I mean, depends. Did they go out and get them?
The-
Because if they went out and got them,
then they're
they probably
fine.
kept their
Then
jobs.
they're in. Yeah.
So the next thing we watched is getting back to that chaotic Grover energy. From December 15th, 1987, from episode 2377, is the Monster Fix-It Team.
Hi-ya.
And this is...
That's their phrase. You know, that's
Yeah,
what they
sorry.
say.
This is the last skit on the show with Jim's Kermit and Frank's Grover together.
And it's a great one. I mean, we can assume that they're still in this loop to this day. Like they are trapped with each other in a constant cycle of repair and breaking. So that's why this is a good button on the end of their relationship.
Well, Kermit has a leaky roof.
His house is a dump, seems like to be.
I mean, maybe it's his upstairs neighbor's fault.
I guess that close up of the leaky roof kind of grosses me out for some reason, though. It's just
Because it already
very
looks like it's
real
patched
looking.
once.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's just like seeping and like plaster dripping down.
so the Monster Fix-It Team shows up with Grover, Harry, and unnamed third Muppet.
Yeah. Who's not Ruby, but kind of looks like Ruby, but a different color.
Yeah, basically, it's just female Muppet with sad eyes.
Yeah.
Is a trend they keep introducing.
Yeah.
But, Grover is the plumber, so first he comes in and he says, "Hey, I got to put this cute little pipe in the wall, and that will fix your problem," which he does, but along the way, he has to pull out the phone wire to fix the leak. Thankfully, Harry Monster is there, and he's the phone repair monster, but he has to rip the light switch out of the wall to fix the phone. But thankfully, third unnamed female Muppet is an electrician, and she's here to take the pipe out that Grover originally put in so that she can fix the light switch.
That water electricity combo seems pretty dangerous.
Yeah, they're made of, fleece.
Yeah, I guess they can't be electrocuted. Is probably right. I like these odd Sesame Street skits that we get where you don't learn anything except that life is pain.
Yeah, we've got, in my estimation, one of the largest examples of not learning anything in a sketch later on that I can't wait to talk about. Yeah,
even more
this
than
is
the
up
one
there.
where Grover is a lumberjack for some reason, just being really mad about breakfast.
I mean, that one was definitely up there.
Okay.
But I think for me, the Love Boat one.
Oh
that we
yeah,
will get to.
That one's really weird.
Season finale is one of the weirder things we've ever seen.
That one is really odd. Yeah, but this one's like Kermit's waiting for Godot. This is a masterclass. They finished this one and they said, we don't have to do any more Kermit and Grover. We've reached the pinnacle.
Yeah, we just keep re-airing this one.
Yeah.
Well, the next thing we watched was from January 4th, 1988, episode 2391, Bert's Blanket. This is the one where Ernie is sleeping over at the Count's, so Bert has the place to himself and is stoked because there's no surprises. He just gets peace and quiet and no one to wake him up. Except for some very random wild sheep who just show up and say, "Hey,
that guy's
we
using
thought you'd want to know where your blanket came from."
And actually, Bert's kind of like, yeah, I'd love to.
They know Bert. That is a thing Bert would be very interested to learn.
I also like that as they're singing the song, it's clear that they don't actually know where his blanket came from. And Bert does know where the blanket came from.
Yeah, he picks up the slack there.
Yeah.
They just know about shearing sheep.
Yes.
And they can get him almost there.
Yeah. And that makes sense. They wouldn't know. They wouldn't follow their wool to the next step. But Bert is like, and do you know what happens next? And the sheep's kind of cop an attitude with them. They're like, yeah, they wave a magic wand and a blanket appears. Bert's like, you asked me. This song was your idea. So,
yeah, you woke me up.
Yeah.
But we do get to see a Muppet sheep get sheared by Farmer Ernie.
I loved that. That was a great. There was a lot of sheeps, just dead sheeps on sticks in this one.
Yeah,
but
your focus is really supposed to be on the one that Ernie's taking the fur off of.
Yeah, but the fur shearing, That was great. That must have been fun to build. It seems very satisfying to be
Mhm.
Ernie taking that skin off of that sheep, that wool off of that sheep. But yeah, this is where we find out that when Bert's gone, Ernie is totally fine and happy. But also Ernie sleeping at Count's begs so many questions. I'd love to see what happens when Ernie's over at the Count's house. They're probably just dancing around, having a grand old time counting everything.
The question is there an alternate scene where the Count is like, Ernie, did I invite you over? Or did you like where Ernie invites himself to stay over at the Count's house and the Count is annoyed just like Bert would be?
I don't think the Count is capable of any emotion except jubilant. Jubilance.
I guess,
Jubilance?
yeah.
Is that an emotion? Jubilance?
Yeah, it's almost an X-Men.
Yeah, except just being very excited to count. I don't think we've ever seen him be anything else, have we? I think
No, he does. He's very good at turning bad situations into positives.
Yeah. I think if Ernie came over, he would say, I have one friend staying at my house. This is the best day of my life.
Let's invite over 50 more friends.
Yeah, you can't count 0, so you got to have some friends over. Oh, that made me sad because what if everybody's at the Count's house for a big party and Bert just didn't get invited?
Yeah, it's weird that Ernie's out staying over at Count's
By
house tonight.
Cut 2.
Maybe I'll
Great
call Bob.
party.
Huh, Bob's not home. Wonder where Bob could be. Throwing a rager over at the Count's house with all of the
the Count's castle.
Muppets that you can assume are adults.
Yeah, Bert, Ernie, and that's pretty much it. Cookie Monster.
Count. Cookie Monster, maybe. Grover, I think, skews a little older to me. At least drinking age.
Oscar's definitely an adult.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You think there's a question that Cookie Monster's an adult? I don't think so.
I think the monsters are sometimes in a weird world where it's like Elmo can act very adult and then be like, I'm 3.5. And you're like, okay.
Yeah. I was surprised to see that happening so much in this group where Elmo is like Rosie O'Donnell show Elmo several times.
Getting very close, yeah. Well, the next thing we watched were the street scenes from the Ronald Grump episode of Sesame Street from January 14th, 1988. Episode 2399. Yep, it's Ronald Grump.
Yep. Weird that he has a hat on and that they didn't make him look like Donald Trump.
Yeah, they do that later on. They get some more specific. There's a lot of Donald Trump parodies that happen on Sesame Street. At one point, Joe Pesci shows up playing a version of Donald Trump.
Right. Must have loomed large over New York City life back then.
Yeah, I mean, specifically, he had many lawsuits about evicting people that he shouldn't be evicting from apartment buildings.
Right.
So,
and then even in this, they're just like, fuck that guy, basically.
But yeah, Ronald Grump shows up, and Sam described this pretty well, so we don't need to get too into it. But he does want to build Grump Tower, which is what he describes as a condominium, room for 3 families. So you get a 2-story trash can. And I think, the commentary parts are where Maria's like, we don't want that monstrosity built around here.
Yeah, she's a NIMBY. Maria's a NIMBY.
I think it's a little different when it's literally Trump Tower.
And it's literally trash cans piled up on top of each other. I guess so. But it does he's like, this is multifamily housing. And she is like, absolutely not. Hits differently.
That is true.
Much like the police thing, this hits differently in 2024.
Yes, very true. If it wasn't for the Ronald Grump character being truly terrible, the message there would be bad. Yeah,
and the way he explains it, it's not like if he said it would have made more sense if he had been like, we're going to stack 50 trash cans up.
We're going to cover the whole front of Sesame 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, but 3 condominiums next to each other, that's just 3 townhouses. That's all that New York City is.
And a better use of space, honestly.
Absolutely. They fit more Grouches into the space. And everything seems fine except for the pet. The pet
is
thing.
Ronald
I'm not
Grump
saying
is a
anything.
good guy.
No. Well, I don't know. I don't think he's a Grouch. He has a nose. I don't think Grouches are supposed to have noses. I think he's a fake Grouch.
Oh, so he's also lying about being a Grouch.
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe Grumps are a different species.
Could be, yeah.
Well, he tricks Oscar essentially into signing a lease that says no pets allowed. And so the moment he finds out about Slimy and Fluffy, he chooses to evict Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
unless Oscar can pay him back with 40 bags of trash, at which time Ronald Grump will tear down his tower
Yeah.
and let Oscar move back in, which is really, good for Oscar, bad for those two other families who moved in.
Yeah, the whole plot of this is a little confusing.
I guess Ronald Grump lived in the middle, so it was just that one family on the end.
Yeah.
Who was like, hey, sweet new housing in this. And then Oscar's like, yeah, but I got to keep my worm, so get out of here.
Yeah. What is the scam here exactly? Is I will build a whole house and then...
I guess he's trying to maybe just collect rent, but...
Yeah.
And
it does, I mean, it makes Oscar and Maria come out of this one looking a little worse than Donald Trump.
It is,
I think.
It is the main character energy problem where, the plot armor protects Oscar from being wrong just because, like, we know that he lives on Sesame Street. And so we inherently just go, well, yes, he must be able to live in that spot on Sesame Street.
Right. And maybe if his neighbors had been more unpleasant outside of the worm,
the normal
worm and elephant
thing.
Yeah, then that would have made more sense. But they weren't.
Nope.
And then also I think Oscar says, well, I do have 40 bags of trash, but that's my whole life savings.
Yeah.
What?
His trash savings, he calls it, which isn't really a thing. But
I think it's funny that they don't just go, he doesn't have the money. They go, he does have the money, but he is not going to spend it. So everybody else it's their problem now.
Well, you don't want to clean him out. Like, if they were like, hey, we're going to kick you out of your house tomorrow unless you give us literally every dollar you have. Yeah, that's going to be rough.
What if the also amended to that was every day you could go out on the street and find $100 just sitting for free? Like, they live in New York City where trash collection happens on the curb. Like, he could be a billionaire in a day. It would be so easy for him. But he doesn't want to go out and do the work.
So what Sam is saying,
this skit radicalizes me in a way I wasn't expecting.
Thankfully, Maria is here to set things right. And collect 40 bags of trash on Oscar's behalf. They do a scene where Maria is walking down the street counting all these random bags of trash and letting the kids count. And about halfway through, I feel like Sonia Manzano gets bored.
Yeah, she's like, why did we do 40 bags of trash? Couldn't we have done 30 bags of trash?
She starts whipping them over her shoulder at like Bob and Gordon, who have to catch these bags of trash. And it does not feel like a thing that they planned, at least this way.
Nope. In universe, too. Well, who knows what's in these bags? And she's real strong.
I'm guessing it's crumpled up newspaper.
I mean, yeah, in reality, it is just,
but she is just like,
yeah. Is Maria the main character of Sesame Street in human terms? Or do we just not see enough of other, like, Gordon and Susan?
Well, yeah. So, for instance, last season was all about Gordon and Susan adopting Miles.
A child. Right,
so I'm assuming last season they probably would have seen more like the main characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing it's whoever they give the main arc to that season.
Yeah. Maria just seems like the most fleshed out character to me.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just colored by what we've seen in that.
We have a limited window.
A crush on her. And she's our exact age in these episodes too.
Oh, is she?
Yeah. She's like 36 or 37 when this is happening. I just identify with her, I suppose.
Well, I guess it's, if we're going to rank your crushes on this, I feel like it's a healthier crush than the Miss Piggy crush.
Yeah, she's real.
She's real, age appropriate. Like, I think you're good.
She's not toxic. Miss Piggy's extremely toxic. That would be
very
really
true.
Bad for me to date Miss Piggy. She'd just walk all over me.
But Maria is double taken. She's married in real life and married in the show.
Yeah.
So
one thing I was a little disappointed in, this is maybe premature to talk about it, but I really wanted Oscar to have a more prominent role in the Maria side of the wedding, because I do feel like
the little relationship they have going on.
I feel like they're secretly best friends. He's got a nickname for her. She loves to go over there and mess with him and like fuck with him.
She saves his whole freaking house.
She saves his whole house because they're best friends with just like a slightly fun antagonistic relationship. So if he had been like her like maid of honor, that would have been really cute, right?
That would have been very cute. If you don't even notice the trash cans behind her, like up at the altar, and he just pops up.
Yeah, and he cries because he's.
I don't even think he's at the reception.
I don't know that he is either. Yeah.
Well, we'll get there. The next thing we watched is from January 21st, 1988, episode 2404. It's healthy food.
Yes.
It's Frank Oz rapping as Cookie Monster.
As he does so often for some reason.
So often, I feel like, is a little bit...
He's better at rapping than Jim is, though. So
yes,
there is
agreed.
that. There is that. Jim sounds like your dad rapping. Frank sounds like someone who's
Your
been
uncle
forced,
rapping.
who's been forced to rapping. Your uncle, that's right. You're kind of cool, uncle.
Yeah, slightly cooler than your dad.
And he raps, and you're like, you know, I never want to hear him do that again, but he's actually pretty good at it. This doesn't bother me though, because I think Cookie Monster has the right energy to rap. I think he's the way
he's got some range. He can rap. He can host Monster Piece Theater.
Yeah. When Fozzie rapped, I didn't buy it because he's too anxious.
Well, I feel like they were also trying too hard with that Muppet live show where Fozzie was rapping.
He was also
breakdancing. It felt like they're like,
too.
Please help us tap into the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
This just feels like Cookie Monster was like, guys, I gotta rap.
Yeah. Exactly. And Cookie looks good in the jumpsuit.
Yeah.
He looks in the hat. He has that hat on too, right?
He's got like a beanie on, I think.
He's got the hat. He looks great. It does disturb me that he keeps saying "girls" when the chorus starts and all the female food starts singing.
He also says "word up."
Yeah.
Also, I think you shouting "girls" as Cookie Monster is the best impression you've ever done on this podcast.
Thank you. That's really special to me. I finally found one I can do.
You found an impression you can do, and it's not one you necessarily want to replicate anywhere else.
No.
Hey guys, listen to this. It's Cookie Monster yelling "girls"
in the 1987 skit Healthy Food Rap, in which Cookie dresses like Run DMC and raps. But no, this didn't feel like an old man desperate, like you said. This felt like very purposeful. They wrote a pretty good rap. They were lightly parodying the genre well. Yeah.
Frank Oz is 44 at this time, so
yeah,
this is a 44-year-old dude.
I wouldn't want
rapping.
anyone to look at me while if I was Frank Oz rapping as Cookie Monster. I would say, please,
right, yeah,
leave the room. This is gonna turn out fine. I just can't have you here. I can't have
especially
any
at one point he shouts "word." When he shouts "word up" was really when I was like, Frank, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. The lyrics also are so good where he's like, me one healthy dude, cause me eat healthy food.
Yeah.
This veggie monster propaganda.
That's right. Oh wow.
Everyone who every 5 years gets mad that Cookie Monster is becoming the veggie monster.
Yeah.
Look back at least to 1988 where he raps about how
he says,
he's known for eating cookies, but it's important to eat meats, fruits, and veggies.
Yeah, where he says, "Are you stupid? Of course I don't only eat cookies. I would die."
Yeah. Why would you ever think that? You've seen me eat computers. You must know I eat more than just cookies.
They call me Cookie Monster because my real name is too terrifying. Everything Monster.
It can't be pronounced, actually, in your language.
Yeah, but I don't know. I liked this. I clicked it. I thought, oh boy, here we go. But then I thought, great job, Cookie Monster.
Yeah. And Frank.
Of course. Yeah.
Well, the next thing we watched is some street scenes from, and when we say street scenes, I guess maybe that could use some explanation. Basically, it's everything from a Sesame Street episode that is the major plot of the episode that takes place with either the Muppets or the adults, humans and stuff on the street, driving the plot forward. So not including any of the cartoons or short films or anything or old reused Muppet segments. This is just the plot of the episode. Usually it's about 10 to 15 minutes of the episode. And so sometimes when we want to watch some special episodes, but don't want to spend hours and hours and hours doing so, we watch just the street scenes. And this one is the January 21st, episode 2404, where Maria and Luis realize they are in love.
Yeah. And I feel like this season's plots are far more complicated than other plots we've seen. They're like, almost like a real TV show. Not that this isn't a real TV show, but they are like episodes of, they're as sophisticated as an episode of like Full House or something like that.
Right. So much so that I think during the season finale, it feels jarring when they cut away to a random cartoon about the
Yeah.
letter A, where I'm like, hey, get back to the story.
Yeah, I was invested in that.
Yeah.
I want to see Maria's hair. She looks beautiful.
Yeah, we've done this a couple times where we've watched something where, the plot of an episode is the Count finds a new car or something.
Yeah, right.
And we go to watch it, and it's like literally the last 5 minutes of the episode is him going, my car.
Right.
And you're like, hey, I guess that was the whole plot.
Yeah.
Whereas, in this one, from almost the very beginning of the street scenes, it's about Big Bird and Snuffy spotting Luis and Maria holding hands, which it's adorable when they are confused by that.
It really is.
Like, wait a minute, they're grown-ups, and only kids have to hold hands when they're crossing the street.
Yeah. And it did capture the like kids asking uncomfortable questions energy very well. But I got unreasonably mad at both of them at the beginning of this episode as they were saying "Yeehaw."
Yeah.
Do they not
Big
know
Bird.
what?
Yeehaw.
Yeah. So they're playing cowboy, and they're running. Snuffy and Big Bird are playing cowboy. They're running up and down the street saying "Yeehaw."
Yeehaw, yeehaw.
And not yeehaw, which is like, well, maybe someone will set them correct. Maybe
No.
Forgetful Jones will show up and say,
like,
you guys are
hey,
doing this
partner.
all wrong. But no, the grown-ups also say yeehaw.
Yeah.
Is it because do people in New York not know? New York City.
They
don't know what yeehaw is.
They don't know beans, and they don't know.
No. That's paste salsa. It's salsa.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the Blazing Saddles scene.
Oh, they don't know that either. They're probably.
I was just picturing cowboys around a campfire, and my brain accidentally went to Blazing Saddles instead of paste salsa.
Yeah.
But yes, they are very cutely playing cowboys. Big Bird has a vest on, and they have like a bit of a southern accent going on when they start disagreeing about how many yeehaws to say.
None of the adults never say, "You mean yeehaw?"
Right. They go talk to Gordon and Susan, who's gonna, they're gonna talk some sense into them, but not about yeehaw, just about how best friends don't need to like all the same things.
Yep. I could see myself on set as an actor in this, getting the script that says yeehaw, and then maybe at the end of the storming off of the set after having a huge argument.
I won't
being
stand
I'm not
for
gonna
yeehaw.
say yeehaw. It's yeehaw, and then they have the whole crew together. They're like, "Who thinks it's yeehaw? Who thinks it's yeehaw? I guess I do. The yeehaws have it. We got to say yeehaw." And then I'd say,
I can't imagine anyone ever has said yeehaw.
Somebody has.
Outside of this episode.
Yeah.
Yeehaw is not a thing I have ever heard of.
I did a lot of Googling for yeehaw, and it's yeehaw. There is no doubt in my mind. But anyway.
It's at, alternatively, hee-haw was a thing.
Yeah.
But there was no middle ground of yeehaw.
Was Big Bird on hee-haw?
He was, yeah.
Okay, so maybe he's getting a little confused. He's lived too long. His memories are getting too messed up.
I even thought maybe like the first, these clips aren't always the best quality. So maybe the first couple times I heard it, maybe they just said yeehaw and I heard it wrong. But they just keep leaning into that yeehaw.
Triple, quadruple. They're down on this a lot.
Yeah. But that's when they spot Luis and Maria holding hands while crossing the street. And Big Bird's like, I'm gonna go ask him why.
Something's going on here, yeah.
So they split up to interrogate them. And Luis and Maria struggle to answer the question.
Yes.
They get a little nervous and flustered.
Yeah.
To which Big Bird says, a grown-up on Sesame Street having trouble with a question. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
That was awesome. But, yeah, I mean, we saw them holding hands earlier. So they are dating. They're just, it's not like, I don't know. I feel like in this episode, it's almost like they accidentally were holding hands. Or they literally honestly didn't realize that they've been holding hands for several weeks.
I'm guessing that earlier this season and maybe previous seasons that they were treated sort of the way that previously David and Maria were treated. Yeah. And that they never said, hey, is that your boyfriend?
Right.
But we just sort of see them being lovey-dovey and coupley.
Right.
And I think it's this same thing where I think throughout the season, you do see Maria and Luis getting a little closer.
Yeah.
But until this moment, we haven't acknowledged what that really means. It's not been
remarked upon. Sure.
It takes two children to be like, wait a minute, You guys like each other?
Yeah, which is it was like kind of a cute Parent Trap thing where Snuffy's talking to one, Big Bird's talking to the other, and they both tell the puppet that they are in love, and then
Yeah.
those two meet and they're like, they love each other. That was so
They gotta
sweet.
tell each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, then everyone gathers around to watch them tell each other that they love each other and kiss
And
in the
make
Fix-It shop.
out. And then he lowers the shade. I wonder,
Get out of here, Bob.
Yeah.
You don't get to watch this, Bob.
Bob's steaming up the window.
Yeah, to me, it's funny of like, I think for kids, this works really well, but it is funny that like Luis wouldn't have talked to Gordon about like, hey,
Sure.
I think I have feelings for Maria.
Yeah. It's like we've lived on Sesame Street too long. I've forgotten to have adult conversations. I've forgotten how that works.
Well, at the end of this episode, we have Luis and Maria tucking Big Bird into bed in his nest, and he asks them one last question. When you gonna get married? Once again, they get flustered and nervous and don't know how to answer, which is fair. And he's like, I'm gonna wear a tie.
I love that. Yeah, this is a really good Big Bird's just being a little stinker.
Yeah.
It's like, I know you guys are gonna get married, and I'm gonna wear a tie when you get married.
Which, to be fair, it is only like 4 months later that they get married. So
things do proceed quickly. Yeah. I wonder if time doesn't work the same on Sesame Street.
Maybe. It's like, well, the kids are about to get out of school for the summer, so we got to speed this up.
Hurry up, yeah.
Well, the next thing we watched was some more street scenes. This one's from January 29th, 1988, from episode 2410, introducing Snuffy's sister, Alice.
How does Alice work?
Well, we'll get into that a little bit because we actually have a Muppet of the Week segment later on with Alice. But pretty much the answer is like Barkley.
Okay, that's what I figured.
But the episode opens up right away with Alice, who apparently has never met Big Bird. And Snuffy is trying to describe Big Bird to Alice to be like, hey, you're going to meet my friend. He's got 2 legs, feathers, likes to sing. And Alice is watching David, who is singing and holding a feather duster. And it's like, aha, bird. And which leads to her almost killing David.
Yeah. It's like, she must weigh a ton, right? She's an elephant.
She doesn't quite weigh a ton. This is a little teaser for the Muppet of the Week segment. But they do say at some point that she weighs 317 pounds.
Oh, so David's dead.
Well, she launches herself at both David and Bob in this
Bob's
episode.
definitely dead.
Yeah, they get, even like as a puppet with a person inside of it, I was concerned for those two.
Because there's got to be some pokey bits in those puppets. They ain't soft, I wouldn't think.
But she knocks David on his ass. What are your feelings on Alice?
The only note I have basically for this entire thing is, what are we doing here? What? I think she's really cute, but what are we doing here? I guess what's the is it just because she's cute? Is it to sell a doll or something? What is the point?
I think that's probably a little bit it, Sam. I put in my notes, I predict Sam is going to hate Alice, so it doesn't sound like you're quite at hate.
She just wasn't an entity enough for me to hate.
I think she had Baby Huey voice, which is why I was predicting you were going to hate her.
Yes, I was going to say, if she had a real voice, I would have probably liked her, but I am sick of babies. I've been sick of babies, been sick of baby cartoon characters my whole life. I just don't want to hear that. I don't want to interact with a baby talk, an adult pretending to be a baby. One of my least favorite kind of voices. So, this whole thing.
I can't wait to tell you how much John Stone disagrees with you.
Oh, wow. Okay, this is exciting. I can't wait to learn more about this, because this just seemed like, well, we got Muppet babies. Let's put some babies in this show too. We got to put some babies in this show. But she is cute. She's really cute. And it's a very good puppet in a confusing way where I'm like, this is just, they made this. This is a real creature.
That's a living creature. Don't tell anyone.
But also this whole time I was thinking, I'm so glad Snuffy isn't imaginary anymore. I'm so glad that people can see Snuffy, because he just is he adds so much to stuff, I think.
Yeah. Notably, not at the wedding. I think it wasn't necessarily a Snuffy accessible.
He can't get on the roof. You want that guy on the roof? Man,
he's at the reception. So he was allowed at the reception. He was invited to that, but they were like, oh, you can't fit up the stairwell. So
they should have given him a periscope or something.
I thought they were going to say a parachute. Like they drop him in from a plane.
They Dumbo dropped him. Operation Snuffy drop.
Well, then we see what I thought was like a non sequitur scene where Bob and Luis are just hanging out with some kids playing the feather game, which is just a song about wearing your feather anywhere at all. But this leads to Alice spotting Bob, who has 2 legs, feathers, and likes to sing.
Yeah. And
So
then
she also attempts to murder Bob.
crushes Bob's torso.
But Alice and Big Bird do eventually just sort of bump into each other, and the episode wraps up that way.
Yeah. She's kind of the mooding of her time, huh? Mooding.
I guess.
Remember that?
Yeah. Remember that very famous hippo from 2 months ago who probably got too big and too ugly now
I
and
think
nobody likes him?
mooding looks like a regular hippo now. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
I've seen a picture of people
Can
being
crush
like,
you
yeah.
in their mouth.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you're not cute anymore. Bring us another cute hippo.
Yeah. Mooding Jr., it's time.
Next thing we watched was from February 10th, 1988. It's a Grover's Restaurant scene with old Mr. Johnson. We've seen a bunch of these before. Not anything new, but still fantastic.
Still great. Yeah. It's not Grover's Restaurant. He just works there.
Well, in this one, Mr. Johnson orders a cheeseburger with french fries and a pickle, and Grover doesn't want to write it down, and instead is going to remember it via a poem.
He'll use his waiter's memory.
Yeah, round and tasty on a bun, pickles, french fries, yum, yum, yum. Which, I love that only part of it gets replaced. He didn't think of anything else for pickles and french fries.
Well, that's the whole problem. He remembers almost all of it, just not the part he wasn't very specific about.
The other part that he has to remember is whose order it is.
This part.
And so he remembers, in a hurry to be fed, beady eyes and big blue head.
Yeah, which seems to like irritate Mr. Johnson so deeply that he doesn't even yell. He's kind of just like completely aghast. Like in this whole thing, he's
I don't have beady eyes.
In this whole thing, he's not even really that mad. He's kind of just like, dear God, what is my life?
Yeah, the pattern for this guy is called Fat Blue, I think internally, but I guess they couldn't say like Fat Blue Head on Sesame Street.
Oh, and a little nod for the super fans. Yes.
Yeah. Who at the time maybe didn't exist because maybe nobody at the time knew what the pattern was called.
Yeah.
But now it's called Fat Blue.
Fat Blue.
Well, he brings in a grapefruit on a bun because that's, round and tasty.
Yeah. The cheese wasn't mentioned at all in his poem. That should have been the first clue. That's something.
Well, and even Mr. Johnson goes a little off track when he starts to try and clarify. He's like, I ordered a hamburger.
Yeah.
With cheese.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you got to be clearer with this guy. But yeah, every time we watch a Grover thing, he works his way up my list of favorite Muppets.
Oh, I think Grover, I love the way he calls everything cute, including himself. He's pure evil. It's great. But then speaking of being pure evil Bugs Bunny mode, at the end, he's like, okay, I'm going to go get you your hamburger. Except it's 2:00. I can't work anymore. He respects, maybe he's part of the union. He can't work anymore or else he'd get in trouble. I like when Grover goes in to get the food and he comes back out, he's like, in like 1 second, he's like, Charlie, you cook so fast.
Yeah, I feel like every line to Charlie is the unscripted parts that Frank Oz just gets to have fun.
Yeah, Frank Oz is so fucking good at being funny.
Yeah, I wish he would still puppeteer from time to time.
Yeah.
I know he's Yoda occasionally, but...
Right, and Yoda's pretty funny too.
Well, the next thing we get to watch is a gym masterclass on February 19th, 1988. Opposite Stuff from episode 24-25. Starring Bip Bipadada.
The alternate universe Menomina guy.
Yes, looks almost identical to Menomina.
Yeah, he's like...
But isn't.
In disguise, he's got the sunglasses on. Because he's like, the most distinctive feature I have is my eyes. My weird hollow eyes.
Yeah.
I must cover
He needs to hide from the cops, which obviously Menomina would need to hide from the cops. He's like, Menomina, I'm Bip Bipadada.
Bip Babadada. Yeah, that's what he signs when he signs into a hotel registry. He signs Bip Babadada.
This feels like the most 60s thing that's not the 60s that we've watched in a really long time.
Yeah, it's got a very plain background. It's a very singular idea. It goes on way too long.
It's just that like scatting jazz kind of music that I just don't feel like this is a thing that we get to see Jim do a lot of anymore.
Yeah, it is a very extreme blast from the past.
And I think there's a few of these kinds of things around this era that Jim does with Bip Bipadada on Sesame Street. but I don't think it's super common. So
He
I'm
just
glad we
had
got to see this one.
he had some bug in his ass to do some scatting, I guess.
Yeah.
But I didn't. This is one of the. I didn't like this that much because I think it went on too long. This was
Mm.
like the only one that I like hovered over the YouTube player and was like, this is like halfway done,
Mm.
and now there's cows.
Yeah, I think I liked it more than you. I think just the energy of Bip Bipadada and
Yeah.
Jim getting to play that character got me through to the end of it.
Yeah.
But I could not tell you what happens
Though.
like halfway through.
And the fact that he's wearing Oakleys is also kind of throws me off. He says like wraparounds that you could go to like Shields and buy.
Yeah, I enjoyed that energy from Jim.
That's true.
Because it does feel like he's flexing a muscle that he doesn't get to flex very often.
It's nice to think about Jim walking out of the Muppet studio or office building, walking over to Sesame Street, putting on this puppet, being like, "Hello, old friend," and then going blah 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 blah. Yeah.
Well, the next thing we watched is another one of my favorite things we've
God,
ever
this
seen.
was so good.
This is from February 19th, 1988. It's Gladys and Elmo from episode 24-25, an episode which, if we watch the full thing, is about Elmo wanting some time alone.
The only person who is more annoying than Elmo is Gladys, I guess.
Which I wouldn't necessarily have predicted.
Me either.
Maybe Grover, but not Gladys. I think this is...
Yeah.
This is a very unique version of both of these characters that we have not yet seen.
This is Rosie O'Donnell Elmo.
You think?
This is off the clock Elmo.
I think, okay, yeah, it's a little bit off the clock Elmo, but I think it's still a little different.
Okay.
Like, I don't think we've ever seen this exasperated of an Elmo. Maybe even since. Maybe with Jimmy Fallon occasionally. But I feel like this Elmo is a different Elmo.
Well, on that chicken date, he got a little flustered in that one. That's true. Too. Yeah.
This is the most, I think, adult Elmo we've seen so far. Like, he feels like he's in his 30s.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. He's in his 30s at a party, and you start talking to that person, and you're like, this person's only going to talk about themselves, and I'm going to be here forever. Where's my wife? That's the feeling he was having, but he doesn't have a wife, so he's screwed. He didn't even know Zoe yet, so.
No. Well, Elmo is drinking some milk when Gladys shows up to annoy him. And it's like, do you like milk, Elmo? Do you know where milk comes from, Elmo?
Cow. I'm not stupid. I just pretend to be stupid on TV.
Do you know who's a cow, Elmo?
Yes, I know, Gladys. You are a cow.
Yeah, he's even like, Gladys is a cow, Gladys.
And then he's like, why are you telling me all this stuff? It's like, because I like talking about myself. Peace.
He's like, oh, well, so he says, oh, Elmo likes talking about himself too. And then starts to talk about himself, and Gladys is like, I gotta go.
I loved that. This was so good. Yeah. I think we've talked before about how Miss Piggy's a ripoff of Gladys. And this was like...
This was a very Miss Piggy Gladys, yeah.
Yeah. Richard really outdid himself. Gladys is a great character. I think Gladys is like low-key one of the best Muppet characters.
Gladys is another one of those Muppets who I feel like has a life outside of Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Muppets feel like their life like starts and ends when they are on Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Whereas, we've talked about other Sesame Street Muppets who just sort of wander in and out. And I feel like Gladys definitely has a lot more going on that we get to see.
Yeah, she hosts a burlesque show or something like that.
Yes.
Like, yeah. She's a renowned member of the theater scene. Like, Gladys is famous.
Mm-hmm. Well, next up, we get to meet a brand new character. We get to meet Ruby on March 1st, 1988, from episode 2432. This is one of two new Camille Benora characters this season, the other being Meryl Sheep, who we'll talk about soon. And this is when Camille became a full-time performer this season. So she not only gets a couple characters with names, but she also, you'll hear her voice regularly throughout a lot of these sketches. Sort of, Sesame Street has definitely built up this roster now that doesn't have Jim and Frank in it. That is like, Jerry Nelson, Richard Hunt, and, Carol Spinney, and now Camille Benora, Martin Robinson. Like, there's like this roster that's been built up now that, much like the Muppet Show, when you'd be like, there's a Dave Goelz character, here's a Richard Hunt character. You can kind of sort of do that now with Sesame Street, where there's like these 6 people that you hear in everything.
Right.
But yeah, Olivia is bringing Oscar some trash But Ruby shows up and's like, about that.
First dibs on this trash, please.
Yeah, this trash is cool. Which, to be fair, it is a stained apron with a very clear letter S stained into it.
When they said this is a stain, I got disgusted. It couldn't have just been an apron with the letter S on it. Like,
right. They couldn't think of anything that S would stand for on the apron.
Right.
So there's like, it's a stain.
But to like stepping back to look at
Yeah.
the situation from a wider view, it's like this sad little gross monster who is wearing a disgusting stained apron and is so excited about it. It's sad. This is the saddest skit we've ever seen. And the apron's gross. That apron's gross looking.
I do feel bad for Ruby. Like, I feel like she looks sick.
Yeah, I think that is a big part of it. It's like if Elmo did this, you'd be like, "Oh, you're just being a weird little guy." Ruby's like, "This is your whole. You're like a grouch, but you don't even realize it."
Yeah, I think like, her eyes are very like upturned. Like she looks very sleepy,
Uh-huh.
and I just worry about her. Yeah, Ruby isn't like Ruby's around for a few seasons, but not for very long.
Zoe's gonna come along and eat her lunch. Ruby's out,
and probably her actual fur, and be like, "We need this."
Yeah. But I really like how positive and like supportive Olivia is in this skit.
Yeah,
because she says, "Girlfriend, you look fresh," when she puts on her apron, which is like really nice thing to say to this nasty little freak with a gross apron on. And I like Olivia. I remember like in Follow That Bird. I think that was one where I was like, Olivia's great snarky edge that's kind of like necessary.
But Olivia is another one of those who I feel like has a vast life outside of Sesame Street, which actually we will talk about soon, was also the reality of the situation. But just feels like she can pop in, do a good scene, and be like, "Yeah, I don't need to be involved in everything, though. Yeah. I'm not going to be at the wedding."
All my brother's weird friends.
Yeah.
Gordon goes home for like Thanksgiving. He's like, "Yeah, my friend the vampire who lives down the street." And the rest of his family's like, "Gordon, you're either a prolific liar or your life is just out of control."
And Olivia won't vouch for him. She's like, "I don't know what he's talking about." They got like dogs and birds, but that's every street, so I don't know what you're talking about.
A couple years ago, a monster ate every piece of furniture in my house and my Christmas tree.
Well, speaking of cute moments, the next thing we watched is from March 14th, 1988, episode 2441. Grover's talking to a kid about marriage. Asking this kid, "Hey, what's marriage?" And the kid says, "It's when two people get married." And Grover's like, "Could you please elaborate?" And so they eventually land on the fact that married people kiss and hug and live together and help each other because they see each other every day and they're friends.
Yeah, I was going to ask. So yeah, kissing, hugging, friends, helping is the list that they eventually land on. Accurate? Inaccurate? Sounds right to me.
Sounds right to me. What else could you ask for?
Doing the dishes, cooking for your wife.
Those are helping each other.
I guess so. That's true. Trying to figure out who gets the car that day.
I think a lot of things fall into the helping each other category.
That's a big part of it too. Good thing you didn't ask me. Let me tell you, girl.
Would not have been short and succinct. I'm like, well, do you have a shared family calendar? Do you decide, I have a doctor's appointment that day, so you can't use the car. I need to drop you off at work first, and then.
Yeah. For me in particular, being married is when your wife decides at 2:00 in the morning she's gonna build a bookshelf. That's just what it is. And sometimes you have to go to sleep and there's a power saw going. Grover, which category does that fall under? Friends?
I think that's helping.
It's friends and helping. Yeah. It's sometimes the two blend together. There's a what's the circles called? Venn diagram.
Or maybe that's just under the category of you see each other every day.
Oh, yes.
So like you live together, you see each other every day, and sometimes that means a bookshelf is being built while you're sleeping.
And the rest. That's the catch-all category. See each other every day.
Well, speaking of marriage, the next thing we watched is from March 31st, 1988, called Don't Walk, from episode 2454. A man is waiting to meet his wife at the church to get married, but the street sign says, "Don't walk."
And they sing a whole damn song about it.
A very sad country ballad about their marriage being doomed. And it says, "Tell your mother you'll marry another. because I've got to follow the rule.
The horrible thing about this is that the light does never change to walk.
Never. I would have bet $1,000
Yeah,
that at the end of this,
it would
the
change.
sign goes boop, and he's like, "Oh,
Okay.
hey, let's go get married."
Yeah, but it doesn't. As far as we know, that guy's still waiting there.
They chose the funnier option of never changing the sign.
The guy standing there, watch his wife get married to somebody else years later, still standing there.
They're waving at each other at the end. They're like, "Hey."
Yeah.
So she knows that he's there.
Right. But and also, to be fair to him, there are some very dangerous things driving down the street.
There's a lot of vehicles.
Big construction vehicles and stuff. He would be killed instantly if he were to walk across the street.
Well, next up, we watched What's Prairie's Problem? A game show from April 18th, 1988, episode 2466. It's everyone's favorite TV game show, hosted by everyone's favorite game show host, Guy Smiley. Prairie wants to watch the birds and build a nest outside her window, but she has a problem, and 2 game show contestants have to figure out what the problem is. And you got one guy who's a big dummy, and one lady who can just see what's happening.
For a skit that has 2 of my favorite guys, Guy Smiley and Prairie Dawn, I didn't really like this that much. I think because I wanted to see Prairie be Prairie and not like
she just
prop.
is more of a prop.
Yeah, and she's fun. Like, she's one of my favorite characters because she's Lisa Simpson, like proto Lisa Simpson. I just love that energy so much when she's so irritated with everybody. But in this, she's just there.
Yeah,
it could have been anybody. What's Grover's problem would have been the same.
Yeah, she doesn't have like a freak out or anything that she lets out that Prairie energy.
Yeah, or she should have been the contestant and
she could have been the smart contestant.
Yeah, and somebody else could have been. First is Grover, who's stupid, and then somebody else could have had the blindfold on.
The next thing we saw was Bah With Me from April 20th, 1988, episode 2468, where we get to see Meryl Sheep, a new-ish character at this point, designed by former Kermit guest Richard Termini.
So she put the wig on.
Hey, Richard decided to put the wig on that sheep.
Okay.
This is notably Olivia's last new appearance on the show.
It is? She's gone?
She is gone after this.
Oh, no. That's why she's so sad.
So some insights into Olivia, who was played by Elena Reed. In the fall of 1985, she joined the cast of the sitcom 227, which taped in California. So for a few years, she continued working on both shows, flying back and forth to work on Sesame Street and 227. But she left Sesame Street in 1988, presumably to make her life easier on the sitcom that would still run for a few more years.
Okay.
I also learned some other fun things about Elena Reed during this. For a while, she was married to Kevin Peter Hall, who is the tall man who played Harry in Harry and the Hendersons and Predator.
Whoa, she's married to Predator?
She was married to Predator and Harry.
That rules.
And she remained active as an actress in TV and films and commercials and more until she sadly passed away from breast cancer in 2009.
Oh.
But in this, she is hanging out with Meryl Sheep, and she's a little sad and talks to Meryl about it.
She was the main character in a whole ass television show?
I think she's main cast. I don't think she was like the lead character.
No, yeah, but she was like, she's in the introductory sentences of the TV series.
I think if you go watch, I have 227. I remember the intro from like watching TV and it would come on. I don't remember a single thing about the show itself. Okay. I'm sure I've seen a couple episodes here and there. But yes, she was a part of the main cast.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think like it would feel weird to watch a sitcom and see Bob. So going and watching this now, it would be weird to be like, Olivia, what are you doing?
It would have been fun if it was not set in New York, set in Chicago, if she was Olivia and she was just like around the block.
Some weird crossover, you know, weird like family members, perfect strangers crossover kind of thing.
Yeah. And like Grover shows up at her door and she's like, dude, you got to get out of here.
You got it. They will kill you. This world that we're in, they take people like you and take them to science labs.
Yeah. You will be dissected. Just ask Alf.
Well, Meryl Sheep tries to cheer up Olivia by singing Ba with Me, which is a song by Ba Donna.
Madonna. I just don't get Meryl Sheep. Mostly, what I don't get is her name. Why is she named Meryl Sheep? But
it
she
sounds like
talks
Meryl
like
Streep.
Zsa Gabor. That's the disconnect that I'm not getting.
It could have been Baba Gabor.
Yeah. Well, we gotta get Richard back on the phone.
We could do that.
Dude.
I just feel like it's a weird move to call him up and say, hey, we've got notes 40 years later.
Did you consider Baba Gabor?
No? Cool. Thank you. Bye.
Sorry that you'll think about that the rest of your life.
He is such a nice man.
He was great. I love that guy. But yeah, this was really good too. I liked the song they sang. I liked that Olivia really got into it. Took it a little too far, but I'm very sad that was the last time we'll ever see Olivia. I really like Olivia.
Well, next up, we have Ernie getting his time alone in the apartment on April 26, 1988, from episode 2472. Bert is gone, visiting his brother Bart. A much more reasonable story than staying the night at the Count's house.
Yeah.
But Ernie won't be lonely because he's going to put a pillow under Bert's blanket that looks like Bert's body.
Does he say that?
He does. He's like, oh, now it looks like Bert's body.
Ew.
And then he puts up a picture of Bert's face that he drew in front of the pillow.
Great picture. I was thinking, like, I don't have a tattoo.
I thought the same thing, Sam.
I would get a tattoo of this. This picture of
Yeah.
Bert is really good.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever talked about it on here, but like I had this idea once to do basically like one of my like shins and back of like a calf area as like just hand-drawn tattoos from movies.
Oh, that would be awesome.
So like Elliot's drawing of E.T. that he does, Doc Brown's drawing of the flux capacitor, like all of these like in canon hand-drawn sketches as like a notebook leg. And I think this would fit in nicely with the rest of those.
Kevin's whole map of his house on your back.
Yeah, that's
back
just
piece.
Hold on, guys.
Ernie's really going through it in this one. Ernie is gremlin mode.
He loses it.
Ernie does what I did. He ordered one big pizza that he just leaves out on the counter and eats for the whole weekend.
Yeah, but he very quickly starts talking to Bert. And starts to question him like he normally would to annoy Bert, and then does an impression of what Bert would say back to him.
Yeah.
Which really, Ernie's Bert impression just sounds like Jim's normal talking voice.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, just, Ernie, please, I'm trying to sleep. And this is when Ernie starts to lose it a bit.
He gets real sad.
He starts to scream, it's not the same. It's different. Please come back, Bert.
Yeah, now we know who loves who more.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, was there any question?
No, there's not. I think they need each other equally, but they express it.
Bert can survive longer without Ernie.
For sure. Yeah.
Like
Not
a
forever,
marriage,
I don't think.
They need to live together and see each other pretty regularly, is what Grover said, right?
And friendship and hugging and kissing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really thought that the Bert picture was going to come to life and say, shut up. That's what I thought the end was going to be.
Unfortunately, no. Instead, while Ernie's having his little freak out, he just goes, wait a second. He'll be back tomorrow. And then it'll be the same.
Yeah.
And he says, when I say things, he'll answer.
Ernie is the type of guy, though, who I think in real life would stay up when his significant other was out of the house. He'd stay up till 5 o'clock in the morning playing video games when otherwise he wouldn't do that, you know?
No, that's me. Not less video games, but it is more like I get into bed and can't fall asleep. So it's more like just watching Netflix on my computer or something like that. And I'm like, wow, it's 3 a.m.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. If I fall asleep alone, I will be murdered, is what I think.
Oh, okay. I don't think my brain goes there. I think it's just more the like, I'm very used to having somebody else next to me in bed.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's very like weird not having that.
When I'm home alone, I do a lot of looking over my shoulder.
Oh, okay. You gotta lock those doors, Sam.
When I take showers, I do a lot of peeking out of the shower too.
Oh.
I get a little scared.
Okay, so
and partially that maybe is because Rachel scares me a lot on purpose, but also on accident because she walks really quietly. So sometimes I genuinely will turn around and she will be standing there and I'll be like, how long have you been there? She's like, I walked up perfectly normally. No, you didn't.
So I should never come over unannounced is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I also have this like up my stairs to my basement. At the top of the stairs, there's the door, my side door. There's a big window in it, and at
Mhm.
night the window is completely black, pitch black rectangle. And when I walk up, all I can think of is somebody, not even a scary person,
Yeah.
somebody is going to look in here. I'm going to fall down the stairs and die, and that's how I'm gonna die. I'm so sure of it.
Which, to be
Um,
fair, there has been times that I've been the one standing at that door.
Well, but it's more like but I know you're gonna be there. I'm not
Right.
gonna know, and then Art the clown is gonna go, "Hello," and I'll be like, "Okay, I guess I'll die." Yeah.
You got carpet on those stairs. You might live.
There's my whole tool shelf is at the very bottom of them, so
Oh, that's gonna be a bad
a
fall.
drill would fall into my chest
Yeah.
and go.
You gotta hope the carpet slows you down a bit, and you maybe
Yeah.
don't make it all the way down.
Yeah, that would be a great Art the Clown kill, though. Is that he scares you?
You gotta tell me who Art the Clown is.
Oh, he's from
I
the
got no idea.
He's from the Terrifier movies. Don't look into it too
Oh.
deeply. They're very scary and gory.
Art the
And I've never even
Clown.
seen one, but I'm really scared of him.
That guy.
That guy. Yeah.
I see him everywhere, and
Yeah.
I didn't know what he was from.
Yeah. He's the new Freddy Krueger, basically.
Oh.
And
I thought he was maybe just like a Spirit Halloween mascot.
I mean, basically, yes, at this point, because he was at
Why is
Spirit
he dressed as
Halloween.
Santa? That's great.
Because in the third one, it's Christmas, and he's killing people at Christmas time.
I mean, when you search a horror movie guy and there's safe search blurred photos, it's like, ooh.
Yeah, there's some really bad stuff that I've seen.
Right.
I haven't watched them, but I've watched them. But anyway, that would be a great one. I fall down the stairs. He's just watching me through the window as I like fall, and then all the drills and stuff fall on me and drill into me, and then he's just like, "Well," and
This one was easy.
Yeah, I guess my work here is done.
I had a whole bag of stuff I came over here with to get him, and then
Yeah, he carries around a trash
scared
bag
him.
full of weapons, Matt. How did
Is
you
that
know?
real?
Yeah.
Okay. That was just that was me just making something up
You're
because I
really
didn't know
in
anything
touch-
about him.
You're really in touch with Art the Clown. He drives around
I'm
in a
Art the
big white
Clown.
van with a
What's he sound
trash
like?
bag full. Nothing, Matt. Now you're not in touch with him at all.
Oh, he
The
doesn't
whole
talk?
thing about him is that he's completely silent. He's a mime.
Boo!
Mm-mm.
Get out of here.
No,
That ain't
it's
no
fun.
Freddy Krueger.
That's the one part of him that I like is that he's a clown. Like the guy who plays him is a trained clown and a trained mime, and it's that he's very good at doing that, at doing the mime thing. That part of it, it's like his kind of signature move. Sorry to everybody in the whole world right now that I'm talking about this.
Hey, I am learning.
Kind
This
of a
is for
signature
me.
move is that when he kills somebody and they're writhing in pain, he like points at them and laughs silently in a very creepy way.
Is that
yeah.
so? His mouth's always open like that, but he just can't talk.
But he doesn't talk. Yeah. So now you know everything about Art the Clown in the Sesame Street episode. And I genuinely have no idea why we're talking about it.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, because we were talking about how you were going to die.
Right.
If
Because
you were
we're-
at home alone because of like Bert and Ernie were.
Yes, because we're talking about Ernie Home Alone. Yeah.
Usually we get on tangents when we don't like the thing we're talking about.
No, but I love
that is not
this.
true.
This is great. I think I just relate so thoroughly. Everybody in a long-term relationship like us probably relates very thoroughly to this
Yeah.
skit too.
Well, the next thing we watch is from April 27th, 1988. Elmo helping Kermit from episode
Terrific.
2473.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, this one looks very 90s to me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Something about the lighting in the set
Yep.
just looks like 90s
It's
Sesame
bright.
Street.
It's really bright in a way that maybe they're not always.
And there's like
bright.
a lot of depth to it. Like
Mhm.
it feels like a whole other different part of Sesame Street that we don't normally see.
Right.
So, but yeah, Kermit's carrying a bunch of packages to the post office when Elmo shows up wanting to help him. And yeah, the crux of it is that he delays him so long that the post office closes.
Yeah, it feels so special when Kermit shows up, and even more special when he shows up not as reporter Kermit.
Yes. Although Elmo does call that out.
Yeah,
He's like, hey, you're always like, hi ho, Kermit the Frog here.
and Kermit's like, I'm not doing anything like that today, Elmo. I'm just trying to mail these packages.
Yeah, my only takeaway from this, which I talked about a little bit on our Patreon Discord, is I don't like seeing Elmo this close to Kermit because their sizes are not what I imagine them to be.
Yeah, Elmo's big, right? Is that what
Elmo's
you're...
big. His head's like the size of Ernie's head,
Right.
which makes sense from a puppet standpoint. But when he kisses Kermit on the cheek, he gives him a little
Uh-huh.
smooch at the end. He looks he looks like he could beat up Kermit.
Yeah, I thought it was like a weird perspective thing. I had this exact same thought where it's like, whoa. I did not expect you to
Like,
be huge.
I don't expect Elmo to be able to take Kermit in a fight,
No.
but watching them next to each other, I think he could.
He easily could, is right. Yeah. But yeah, I don't have any takeaways for this either, except that I really loved it. And that this is
Yeah.
another like Elmo being annoying is baked into his personality in a way that I never realized, and in a way that makes it kind of like silly in retrospect for how many people thought Elmo was annoying when
Right.
it's like,
He's supposed to be.
that's the point. He's a little annoying guy. But this had like Jim and Frank energy to it. Like this was a great they had a great chemistry, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how often we get to see Elmo and Kermit hanging out, but I'm glad we at least got to see it this time. Then we watched Telly and Natasha playing a game of peekaboo on April 29th, 1988 from episode 2475. Gina, who seems to be babysitting Natasha, is like, hey, Telly, can you watch this baby for a second?
Don't do that, Gina. Classic.
Yeah,
I know
don't-
you're new here, but
Yeah, you don't hand off a baby that you're babysitting.
no.
Thankfully, it's baby Natasha, who seems like she's the smartest one in the room at all times.
Yeah. And also she's a Muppet, so she's indestructible. There's
That's
nothing
true.
you could do.
Well, Telly can't remember how to play peekaboo until he stresses out enough about it and covers his face and accidentally remembers how to play peekaboo.
Perfectly serviceable.
Yeah, it's just kind of cute. They end up laughing hysterically at each other as they play peekaboo.
Yeah. Baby Natasha is not his sister, right?
No, which I think
They're
thought
just both
as a
purple.
kid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Which, poor assumption on my part, but I think I did always just assume baby Natasha and Telly. I think because they do a lot of stuff together.
Uh-huh.
And so I think I just assumed that he was taking care of his little sister. But no, baby Natasha has her own parents, Humphrey and Ingrid.
Right. Yeah, I looked up that. I was like, is this a baby just like bouncing around Sesame Street that everybody's kind of agreed to take care of? No, she's got a family.
Yeah. But I do think, at this point, we haven't even met her father on Sesame Street. So
Oh, okay.
I think she is just kind of floating around.
She started out that way, at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Ingrid isn't introduced until 1993.
Oh, so she doesn't have either parent.
She has no parents at the moment.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
how they explain.
So my
where
read
she
on it
comes
was
from?
correct. Gina was also wondering, where you guys just leave a baby sitting around?
Huh. Yeah, I guess we haven't seen maybe baby Natasha's first episode, so maybe they explain it okay.
Okay.
All right. Apparently at some point in Elmo's World Happy Holidays, baby Natasha plays baby Jesus.
What?
I don't know.
I guess who else is going to, but also why did they get to that point that somebody had to play baby Jesus in the first place?
I don't know. We'll find out in 2002. The next thing we saw was Mr. Max Headroom reciting the alphabet on May 4th, 1988 in episode 2478. And I have to imagine this was terrifying.
I would have been scared of this as a kid, I think. I don't know
Yeah.
that for a fact, but he's scary.
This is terrifying now. So I
Mhm.
can't imagine that this would be nice and relaxing.
Yeah, the big fake teeth and the like.
Eyes.
He doesn't do a lot of the glitching out, which is probably good, because if he had done that, that would have been really scary. But mostly the eyes. Yes, the eyes burning through the screen. Just like, who is this guy? Who is this guy is what every child would be asking, because I don't imagine that many kids would know Max Headroom. But maybe they do.
No.
Like we said before, we have no idea who Max Headroom is.
We know so little about Max Headroom. You can apparently watch some Max Headroom on Plex, though, for free.
Oh, okay.
So you can check out at least the TV show. I don't know if the movie is available anywhere. My guess is that it's probably on YouTube somewhere.
Probably.
But if you want to get some more Max Headroom context, which, to be fair, as much as we talk about him, we also don't have. Then we watched Don't Sing This Song from May 10th, 1988, from episode 2482, where everyone's gathered around Oscar's trash can to sing him a song about how, if you don't feel like it, you don't have to sing this song.
Yeah, I think this was the worst day of Oscar's entire life.
I mean, of course, though, at the end, he decides, I'm not singing. Which, much like the Don't Walk sketch, is like, oh, okay, I thought maybe you might end it with like a little bit of,
just do
you know
one
what,
chorus.
he is
Take
going
it
to sing
away,
this
Oscar.
one.
Nah, he doesn't want to, which is, I respect his commitment to his lifestyle, but it is every single person he knows gathering around his trash can to mock him, basically. It's
But
mean. I think it's too mean.
Yeah, there is no reason for them to do this other than to mock him.
Yeah, and I think Maria organized it too.
The one thing I noted in this is that Elmo is sitting on Bob's shoulders, which is a good illusion to have like Elmo's legs draped over his shoulders.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
obviously Kevin Clash has to be like just behind Bob.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've also got Meryl Sheep, the Count, Gladys, and Telly there with all of the humans. So again, rounding out, we've got Camilla Benora, Jerry Nelson, Richard Hunt, Martin Robinson, Kevin Clash, like this non-Jim and Frank roster of Muppets.
Yeah. I love that Richard and Jerry are still like clocking into Sesame Street.
And then we got to see Italian Street Song from May 13th, 1988, episode 2485, on a showing of pretty great performances from the All Animal Orchestra, starring Placido Flamingo. And this is maybe one of the most Muppet Show-ass things we've ever seen on Sesame Street.
Yeah. The thing that I kind of didn't like about it, though, was that it was all the animal sounds were all synthesizer sounds. The Muppet Show would have had that all be voices, you know?
Right.
Or even previous. It's like somebody got a new synthesizer and they were like, check this out. Bah, bah.
I mean, you're probably not too far off.
I can make moo sound. I can make all the sounds. And somebody said, I have a great idea for a new skit.
Well, if you played them all at once.
Yeah. And it sounds like the worst They Might Be Giant song is basically the end result of it.
Yeah, they actually did reuse some of the puppets from the Muppet Show, including sheep, cats, seals, and
chickens, right?
Chickens. Yeah, and the frogs and geese. So the chickens especially, it's very weird to see on Sesame Street because that's just Camilla.
Yeah.
And yeah, seeing her on Sesame Street for some reason just feels odd.
Yeah.
And lastly, this week we watched an entire episode, which we've talked quite a bit about already, of Sesame Street from May 13th, 1988. This is the season finale, episode 2485, where Luis and Maria get married. It kicks off with Maria and Linda up on the roof of 123 Sesame at 6:30 in the morning while everyone else is asleep. My question for you, Sam, did Maria go wake up Linda just to bring her to the roof to talk about the wedding day?
That's a good question. Man, well, I bet Linda and Bob are early risers.
I don't think they live together.
Well, oh yeah, they don't. All right, they get into that at the end of this.
They're a long, will they, won't they, mostly
right.
won't they scenario.
I really liked this scene. I liked this whole thing. Felt like it had follow that bird energy to me. It
just gives Sonia Manzano so much to do as Maria.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, like it really feels like a sitcom. Like they have full fleshed out characters that get to tell us a story.
And there just happen to be weird little freaks running around while they're doing
randomly
that.
A cartoon will pop in and
But this is such a nice, like, kids wouldn't care about Maria and Linda talking about Maria's wedding day. I wouldn't think. And there's lots of parts maybe
trying to share some adult things with kids to include them in the thing. Because, if you're hearing about your parent getting remarried or you're hearing about
a cousin or something,
cousin getting married, you want to understand what goes into it. And so you understand that like adults get really excited about these things.
Yeah. But there's like fun jokes like Maria's like, I bet Luis can't sleep either. And then it cuts to him like dead asleep. It's like, that's not a joke for children.
That's true. There's a few moments in here where I'm like, I don't think this is for kids.
Yeah.
But everyone on the street starts singing Luis and Maria's wedding day song. The Count is hanging out with Gordon in his apartment, I guess, just getting ready for the day.
These guys have been friends forever.
It's just funny to me that like they show all these like natural pairings of people doing things. Like they're locking up the fix-it shop. It says closed for a wedding, all this stuff. And then they just cut to Gordon and the Count in Gordon's apartment just
getting ready.
I think he's shining his shoes. And the Count's just there hanging out.
He's got all his bats. He's like, Count's one of his best friends, man.
Snuffy, during the song, sings about someday getting married as well.
Yeah. And I think Gina or somebody looks at him like, yeah, right, but you're the last of your kind.
Yeah, the only other one is your sister. So
I think there's some other ones in Hawaii, right? Isn't that where he's from?
Oh, yeah, that's where he's from, I think. Well, there are definitely some adults singing the song that I did not recognize. Which turns out to be Maria's mom and Luis's dad.
Oh, yes. Right.
But in this thing, I was like, I feel like I'm supposed to know who these people are.
I think it was Luis's uncle.
Was it his uncle?
I think it was his uncle.
Oh. But it's a very nice, like, big Broadway opening number style song.
All the songs, like that birthday song they sang Miles was so bad. Remember that?
Where it felt like they were like improvising it on the spot.
Yeah, but these songs are all
I'm your grandpa. Happy birthday to you, my grandson.
Yeah. But these songs are all great and fun.
Yeah. I think this episode was written by the same person who wrote the Saying Goodbye to Mr. Hooper episode.
Oh.
To like handle like a big
hitter.
topic. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, at this point in the episode, I am totally sold. I'm loving it. This is great. And then we just get a cartoon about an ape going to a party and the letter A. And it feels very odd to be tossed into the middle of this sitcom.
I guess we have to do it. It's Sesame Street after all.
Then we have Elmo, Harry, and Telly discussing who is the most important person at the wedding. Elmo says it's him because he's the ring bearer. And I gotta say, out of the three of these guys, he's right. Because he's the ring bearer, Telly is an usher, and Harry is the waiter at the reception.
Yeah. I mean, bringing the snacks around to people is more important to a wider group of people, I suppose.
Not to the couple getting married.
But yeah, in terms of actual literal importance, yes.
An usher is the role you give to a family member that isn't in the wedding party.
Yes, you don't know what else to do with them. A waiter is somebody that you don't give to anybody who...
You don't know their name before the day.
You hired them. Yeah.
So Harry trying to argue that he's the most important one at this wedding. Ooh, sorry, bud.
You barely made the invite list, my friend.
It is very telling, though, about what Maria and Luis think of these guys.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know how much Harry Monster's been around other than this, but he certainly lost a lot of his cachet.
But he's also the oldest one of the three of them.
Right.
So he should know Maria and Luis the longest.
But you know.
Maybe
there's a lot of people I've known for a long time that I wouldn't invite to my wedding.
Well, it ends up with all of them deciding that Maria is the most important person at the wedding.
Yeah.
Which Luis agrees with.
I do like Luis shows up and he's just like, I'm obviously the most important person at the wedding.
Yeah. Guys, none of you are the most important ones. Then we get a fantastic looking cartoon of a cat wanting to be fed. It's called Cat's Can. Yeah, so this one is the one I brought up earlier a little bit because it's a short film created for Sesame Street by legendary animator Dan Haskett, who designed the character Belle for Disney's Beauty and the Beast, designed Ariel for The Little Mermaid, designed Mo Sizlak, Barney Gumble, and Mrs. Krabappel for The Simpsons.
Whoa.
Also has credits on Tom and Jerry the movie, Toy Story, Page Master, Prince of Egypt, Sesame Street, The Simpsons. He worked on The Day the Earth Blew Up, the new Looney Tunes movie that is coming out next year.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. So there's a reason this looks so good.
Legendary status just for Mo Sizlak, basically.
Right?
Like if it was just that.
You look at that face and you're like, wow, whoever designed that, legend.
is a genius.
But yeah, definitely this is one I would say go check out if you've never seen Cat's Can before from Sesame Street.
It was great. It was beautiful.
Very good. Next we see Gina in charge of putting out the place cards for the wedding, which Big Bird says is radical.
He does say radical. Why does he say radical?
Because it's 1988,
just
Sam.
Trying to appeal to the kids, I guess. Yeah.
So she sings a sweet song about Big Bird and how they both want to sit next to each other.
She loves Big Bird.
Yeah, she's a big fan. Trying to compete for his love with, here comes Snuffy.
Yeah.
Who learns about this and gets very sad.
He just immediately flies off the handle.
Thankfully, Gina's there to save the day by showing them that Big Bird can sit in the middle, and they both get to sit by Big Bird.
Yeah, like a all-time low intelligence moment for Snuffy, I think. I think even Big Bird was like, I could just sit in the middle, bro.
It is a moment, though, where I'm like, does Gina get to make that decision? Like, I understand she gets to put out the place cards, but I feel like Maria and Luis should be involved in the decision-making.
This all came together really fast, Matt.
True. It's only been 4 months since they said
so
they loved each other.
fast that they had to trust the teenager who just moved into their neighborhood.
Who isn't even that great at babysitting.
I don't know any of these people. Yeah.
Yeah. Big Bird, can you remind me who Bob is? And then we get the weirdest thing we watched somehow.
Yeah.
A Love Boat sketch, which isn't really a Love Boat sketch. You don't need to have seen the show Love Boat to understand. There is a theme song, which does not clarify anything. It says, love can keep you afloat, whether you're a guy, a girl, or a goat who's in love and afloat on a boat.
Great song.
Yeah, I don't think Joe Raposo was writing that one.
I think rhymezone.com probably wrote that one.
The fact that it just goes back and repeats afloat for a second time.
Yeah.
But Ernie's on this boat saying, I really love this boat. No greater love hath any person for any boat than I have for this boat here. And he gives the railing a little smooch.
Yes.
And then a woman shows up whose name is Amanda, who says, good morning, Ernest.
She calls him Ernest.
Multiple times. He does not
Crazy.
object.
No, that's his name.
His name is Ernest. She seems to be into Ernie.
She
and was
loves
hoping-
Ernie.
Yeah. It'd be like if you're watching Titanic and, Jack and Rose have their little tryst, and the next day Rose is like, hey, what if we did like a little thing at the front of the boat? And he's like, I'll just do this alone
With the boat.
Me and this boat are in love. A Richard Hunt character in the background gets really angry because of these two just saying how much they love the boat, and really probably more because they're just kissing the boat, which is a weird vibe.
That's a weird thing to do. The boats are filthy.
Yeah. But then he also admits that he also loves the boat. Everyone loves this damn boat.
Even the fish that pops out of the ocean to say, I love this boat.
I love this boat. And they all just start kissing the boat, and that's literally the end of the sketch.
And we have not learned anything except some words that rhyme with boat at the very beginning.
Yep. It just seems like a little bit of I don't know. Someone said love boat sketch, and they said, okay.
All right. And then they got Jim Henson in there.
Was Jim in there? Oh, Jim is Ernest.
Ernie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, Jim, we got a great one for you.
Yeah.
All right.
You say so. Well, then we see the amazing Mumford helping David and Gina prepare some flowers. Big Bird comes over, letting them know, lost my tie for the wedding, guys.
Mm-hmm.
The one I said I was going to wear 4 months ago.
Yeah. He thought about it too hard. He put it somewhere where he would never forget where it was. And that's when you always forget where you put something.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter because magic's real.
That's right. Yeah. Magic's all too real in this universe.
So the amazing Mumford tries a few times to try and dress Big Bird for the wedding. The first time, he dresses David, who's looking sharp.
He looks great.
The second time, he dresses Gina. Works perfectly.
They're
great.
both so excited about it too, which is great.
He saved them a lot of time.
He did.
Gina's hair is completely done
and
after
I
he does this.
Mumford kind of designed this with his mind. So he's a great fashion designer too. And hair guy.
I gotta say, not my favorite character.
Amazing Mumford? Yeah, he's
Yeah.
kind of just the count a little bit, isn't he?
He's like, we couldn't get the count. I guess we'll take Mumford.
It's the same guy though, right?
I know. He same pattern. He's like purple. It's the same performer.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like maybe Jerry Nelson had a soft spot for Mumford, and he's like, but what if we use Mumford?
I like Amazing Mumford. I think the fact that he's really can do magic is fun.
Yeah. I think it's fun. I think his voice is just too much like real Jerry Nelson voice.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like it's like somebody else trying to do a count.
Right.
Like
there's
voice.
There's not really a lot there, I suppose.
Right.
You're
I don't know. Maybe there's just something I'm not seeing, but
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan.
It's not like the Count where you go, he's a vampire named the Count who counts stuff. It's like he's a magician who can do real magic and he's kind of stupid, so he always messes it up. It's like, yeah, it's not a very clear idea.
No, but he does end it saying the last time I did this trick was for a little couple named Charles and Di.
That is weird. And that's not for kids.
Yep. It also makes me worried about Maria and Luisa's marriage.
Well, yeah, we don't want to get into that.
And now it's time for a wedding.
It's on the roof, first of all, which is so cool. It looks great.
Yeah. Miles walks down the aisle since Elmo can't. But Miles has no job other than walking up to the front and checking in with Elmo about the rings.
He doesn't bring the rings to Elmo? He's just there?
No. I think he just walks down the aisle.
Okay.
I noticed no Snuffies at this wedding. No Grover, no Kermit. The two-headed monster got invited, which feels rude.
Kermit probably couldn't make it. Kermit's busy. Yeah. And Grover had work.
No.
Grover's the
He's at the restaurant, yeah.
It would have been nice if Grover had been the waiter.
Grover, yeah, they could have catered it.
Yeah. Yeah. Him and Charlie.
Well, Bob is the best man, and Linda seems to be the maid of honor at this wedding. And as they start to do their vows, Maria starts getting cold feet, which is
Yeah.
a thing I did not expect to be happening in this
No.
television show for children. And this is, meanwhile, Luis is thinking about how wonderful Maria looks. But Maria's not the only one panicking, because we cut to Elmo, who just keeps singing, "Don't drop the rings, Elmo. Don't drop the rings."
Just like him being perfectly still. Just like, yeah.
But like shaking a little bit out of nervousness.
It's so funny.
It's so funny.
So endearing.
When they come back to it later on at the end of the song,
Yeah.
this is top tier Elmo so far.
It's like so sophisticated too for this show. This whole
Yeah.
part is just like fascinating because we're inside of these people's heads.
Right. No one's
And
singing
they're-
out loud.
Yeah.
But David has a odd line where he's basically singing, "It's weird that my ex is getting married, huh?"
Yeah. I've never thought of her as anyone's wife. And he does look sad.
He looks sad. He's all the way in the back behind Big Bird at this wedding.
Yeah.
Is a very weird moment that I'm like, you didn't have to include David like forlornly singing about Maria, but you did.
We learn Maria's dad is dead from Maria's mom's internal monologue.
Yep. I wish her dad was here to see this.
Luis's uncle has he does his in Spanish, which is really cool.
Yeah, and at the end also is like, says like, "You remind me of me when I was younger."
When I was a handsome young guy.
Yeah, he's like, "I used to look. This is your future." Gina sings basically like, "Someday I'll get married."
Just that.
Yeah, that's it. And at one point during the song, it also switches so that Luis also has some cold feet, and now Maria is like, "This is great. This is wonderful. Can't wait to get married."
Yeah, but then one of the saddest parts is Bob and Linda. They're both like, "God, I wish I could get married. I wonder if the person I've been with for a decade wants to even marry me."
Which, according to Muppet Wiki, the producers considered having the two characters get married, but Bob McGrath said nope.
Why?
He was concerned, and I will say, Bob, this sounds like a lie. He was concerned that it would affect his personal appearances and concerts, where he would often bring his own kids on stage. So he was afraid that this would create a dissonance between his screen and real life personas.
It doesn't sound like a lie. It just sounds like a guy
Excuse.
overthinking his image or something like that. Yeah.
Which, to give him some credit, I think Child Matt assumed Luis and Maria were a real couple because the adults on Sesame Street were real to me.
I looked it up because I thought they were married for real.
Right.
When I was watching it, I was like, they're married, right?
Nope. No. They are married to different people. Those aren't even their names.
No.
Like, in my head, these were all their real names, and they were real people who were really married to each other.
Yeah. Well, Bob confuses the whole...
The one thing Sesame Street couldn't teach me is what an actor was.
Linda even catches the bouquet at the end of the episode, which is extra tragic.
It sets it up so nicely for Linda to be the next one to wed.
Yep. Poor Linda.
Well, the wedding goes off without a hitch. Even after Elmo has to hand the rings off to Bob and reminds him, "Don't drop the rings, Bob." And then at the reception, we see Elmo and Cookie Monster doing a cute little dance together. And I gotta say, Sam, Cookie Monster shows a lot of restraint. They cut the cake 2 feet away from him.
That's right.
And he doesn't even show a bit of interest.
Does he talk or anything?
I don't think so. I don't think Frank's
Frank.
there.
Yeah,
no.
Frank. Yeah.
But the fact that he doesn't even like...
He knows a little decorum. He can't ruin their big day.
He is wearing a suit, so I guess he knows. When I'm wearing the suit, I can't eat everything.
I'm not Cookie Monster. I'm just...
This is a rental.
I'm just Mr. Monster.
I can't get cake on my suit.
He can't afford to get cake on his suit. Or he's terrified of Maria killing him.
Yeah. I'm going to have a cookie rug.
Yeah. I loved their reception, too. It also was really pretty with the lights strung up. And then they have that band playing like a flamenco version of the Sesame Street song. It just looked really fun.
This sounds like a negative, but it's not. It just goes on for so long.
Yeah,
that they just let them have a good time, and they show the dancing, and everyone's just having a good time.
Dancing around. This whole thing feels very real.
Yes,
in a way that it is like completely understandable that you would think that they that this was their actual wedding. Because nothing crazy happens. It's not like nobody ruins it. There's no drama. It just is their wedding day.
Yeah, it's like you look at the wedding in Muppets Take Manhattan. It's a bit more chaotic, and a lot of these same Muppets are there.
Mm-hmm. And
But
there's a strange sense of foreboding in that whole thing too, where you're
right,
like, "What is this? Is Kermit being tricked? What's happening?"
this one's just like a best case scenario of like if you had Muppets at your wedding, they'd be
Yeah,
chill.
you would be nervous the whole time that
Yeah.
one of them would do something really bad, but yeah, they'd be nice.
Well, and that does it for season 19 of Sesame Street.
Big season. They're gonna have a
Big
baby
season.
too, right? In the future, is that happening?
Next season is all about Maria being pregnant
They're
and having a
really
baby.
they're really speed running this whole relationship.
Yeah, I mean, 4 months from love to marriage, and then next time we see them is like, hey, baby.
Yeah.
It'll be about in the spring, I think, when we revisit Sesame Street.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like April, I would guess, April or May, when we're talking about Sesame Street season 20. So we will find out then. But for now, what's this? It's time for our Muppet of the Week. This week's Muppet of the Week is Alice Snuffleupagus. This is Snuffy's 2-year-old sister, who looks a lot like him, just smaller and with a bow. She's a bit lighter in color, and because she is smaller, she can be performed like Barkley by just one person instead of two like Snuffy.
Is she bigger than she looks, or who's performing her? Like, she looks very tiny.
So this is a woman named Judy Sladkey inside of the Alice costume. Judy has been the only performer of Alice ever from the 80s through the early 2000s when they sort of retired Alice. She's a former champion ice skater and dancer. So, yeah, she also performed and skated as Ernie in the Holiday on Ice shows.
Oh.
Where she was also skating with Jim Sladkey, her husband, who played Bert in the Holiday on Ice shows.
That's weird.
Yeah, Bert and Ernie were married.
They were married canonically.
She also appeared as Snoopy in the parade scenes in Jingle All the Way.
That's what I'm seeing when you search Judy Sladkey. The first thing that comes up is Judy Sladkey Snoopy,
which is the least impressive of her roles.
Well,
she's just walking in a parade. She's not ice skating or crawling around like a little baby Snuffleupagus.
She played Snoopy in various ice skating shows from the 1970s to the 90s. Right. So she and Snoopy were very acquainted with each other.
I also always forget when we're talking about this stuff that there are two dudes stomping around inside of Snuffy.
Mm-hmm.
Something about Snuffy just makes me immediately forget that there's a guy in the back end of that.
The illusion is complete.
Alice Snuffleupagus's birthday is December 21st, which I'm guessing we find out at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And like I mentioned earlier, we do find out at some point that her weight is 317 pounds. The suit is apparently too small for the performer to wear the chest-mounted TV monitor like other full-body characters do. Okay. It does not elaborate on how she can see.
She's real. That's how.
But her eyes are controlled by remote control, which was apparently a first for Sesame Street.
They also, Snuffy's eyes are controlled.
I think there's like a little mechanism, that they pull on. But there was no other remote control puppetry happening at the time on Sesame Street. Later on, they would add a trigger mechanism so that the performer inside could open and close Alice's mouth, which I guess wasn't happening at this point.
No, her mouth doesn't move. You can see that it doesn't.
So this is so in a 1987 article from New York Magazine, they were visiting the set of Sesame Street while they were filming some tests with the Alice puppet.
Mm-hmm.
And so John Stone is there overseeing this. And about 10 minutes into her test, Stone looks down at her and says, "You're cute as hell." And said, "This could be another Big Bird."
No, she is cute as hell. That's true.
The article says, when Alice is introduced in January, Sesame Street's audience will decide if they agree. Stone walks away, and two assistants help Sladkey out of Alice's body. She is sweat-soaked, and her face is drained. She and her husband, Jim, are former U.S. ice skating champions. Being baby Alice takes just as much out of her as the rink did.
Oh, no. Her face is drained.
Yeah. She is exhausted. That's why she talks like that. She's like, "Oh, I suffered."
Wow.
But yes, Alice debuted in 1988, the episode we watched, and is seen through season 33, with her last appearance in episode 4005. Although she was dropped from the show following that season, she appeared in the 2002 We Are Family music video and continued to be seen in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade float through 2008.
So not another Big Bird.
Not quite another Big Bird. But while I mentioned Judy Sladkey was married to Jim Sladkey, it's worth noting she is no longer and is currently married to Sesame Street audio engineer Blake Norton, whom she met while working on the show.
Interesting.
Yeah, so maybe there's a fun little drama happening behind the scenes of Sesame Street
so.
there. And the only last note I have here about Alice is that something I feel like maybe we talked about at some point with Snuffy's family, but a younger sibling for Snuffy was originally pitched back in 1978, where Snuffy would have had a younger brother who was bipedal.
Oh, no. I'm glad they didn't do that.
Would have been played by a single performer. And basically what you can picture, there's a drawing on Muppet Wiki that I'm showing Sam right now.
Oh. He's like, again, an unevolved Pokemon.
It's like Barney
Snuffy.
without arms.
Wow. Why?
That's the other weird, like, the weird thing is they let him have a big elephant snout, but he has no arms.
No.
And just legs, which you could make him bipedal and still give him arms, Sesame Street.
I wonder, does Snuffy start out this way? Was that the idea?
I think the idea was that, like, yeah, baby, this is like a tadpole version of a Snuffleupagus.
I kind of like it. It kind of adds a weirdness to it that I appreciate.
I wouldn't mind seeing it once, but I don't want it as like a character walking around, because I think that's one of those characters that you just look at and you're like, that's a guy.
Yeah, that's true. But I think adding a very extremely complicated, strange life cycle to the Snuffleupagus lore, that could be fun. Because they hatch out of eggs, I think, don't they? Is that right? Am I imagining that?
I don't remember. Probably.
I feel like they hatch out of an egg.
That feels right to me.
Yeah, they're just weird guys. They're like, it's like marsupials, and Snuffleupaguses are another offshoot.
Yeah,
that
they got a
is
big
even
pouch
weirder.
somewhere. Well, that is it for our Muppet of the Week segment, which means, Sam, I gotta ask, what non-Muppet things did you enjoy this week?
I've been watching The Penguin, the HBO show, The Penguin.
I just started that too, Sam.
Oh, how far into it are you?
I'm only one episode in.
Oh, okay. So I watched one episode, and then immediately I was like, I gotta watch Batman again. So then I watched Batman again, and that kind of waylaid me because it took me like 2.5 days to watch Batman because it's so long.
It's very long, but it's very good.
But it's so good. I think that's my favorite superhero movie, purely because I relate so much to that version of Batman, because he is 37 when he's playing this character, which I think is hilarious to be 37. Right. I don't know how old whatever that other guy's name was. Patrick
Christian
Bateman.
Bale?
Yeah, Christian Bale.
Yeah.
I don't know how old Christian Bale was when he played Batman, but his Batman seemed so like with it and grown up, you know?
Right. He does not seem like an orphaned billionaire.
Yes, but Robert Pattinson is just this filthy little rat who's sweating all the time and dripping makeup, and just like the part at the beginning where he's listening. I remember in theater the part when he's listening to Nirvana in his little cave, and it like reveals that he actually was listening to Nirvana because he turns it down at one point. It's just like, this is the best movie I've ever seen in my life. Like, this is me if I was Batman. I would suck at it and stink just like he does.
For what it's worth, Christian Bale actually was younger.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So in the basically in The Dark Knight, he was 34.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's just so funny.
Even younger, he was like 31 in Batman Begins.
I mean, I think the character is supposed to be younger than 37.
Yeah, I think so.
It's so funny.
I would hope so, honestly, because of his personality.
Yeah. Well, but can you imagine being the age you are now and being like, I'm going to be Batman? That would be so stupid. You'd be so sore every night. You'd be so out of breath when you're trying to run catch the bad guys. But the beginning of that movie is so good too, when you're not sure which of the crimes Batman's gonna break up, and he's just like the shadows everywhere. But then Penguin is so fucking good too, that I'm like 5 episodes into it, and it's just like good and then completely normal. There's like, it's good, but there's none of that. It's just a really good show. And very fun to watch, and I'm sad that the next Batman movie is like 2 years away, but I think that because Penguin did so good, they're like gonna make it. And I think up until now it's kind of been like, well, are we gonna make a second one? I don't know, but I think now they're like, you have to, guys, there's no other option.
Yeah, no, I need to go back and watch the Batman as well because I really enjoyed. I've really enjoyed the Penguin so far. Just the first episode I watched. But I also do hope they bring Barry Keoghan in as the Joker because
Yeah, me too. They've
that'd be
said
really interesting.
so he's in a deleted scene in that movie,
Right,
and he's
yeah.
at the end.
He's at the
in
very
that.
end, yeah.
But they've said since then that deleted scene is canonical. So
Okay.
the idea, I think, is that he will be the Joker.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I've had fun living in that little world and watching that show.
I mean, honestly, just watching a
which is
TV
good.
show that looks that good
Yeah,
is a fun time.
yeah, and that was
Like
something.
it looks like the movie.
That's something I like about the Batman movie. Something that I also liked about Wicked is that I think we're so used to Marvel movies looking so like
Yeah.
green screened, and a lot of movies that those two movies just look like they're really where they're supposed to be, and the lighting is good, and that show is the same way. Where there's just something refreshing about seeing something that is lit well, even just as simple as being lit well is like, okay, I can lose myself in this a little bit. How about you?
Well, it's getting to be holiday time, so I watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, my annual watch around Thanksgiving time. And I beat Astrobot since the last time we talked.
Okay. You're a game beater. I'm a game play half of and then quitter.
Oh, I have plenty of those on my PS5 too. This is if I really like a game, I will beat the game. I will say I didn't 100% Astrobot. There's like these like 8 spin-off, like not part of the main plot line levels that they introduced that are just
super
there
hard.
to be hard.
Yeah, right.
They're just like these ultimate hard, grueling platformer levels, and I'm like, fuck this ain't fun. And so I try a few times, and if I find myself getting too frustrated, I leave.
Yeah.
And so I went through and I beat the whole game, the normal story mode thing. And I tried to go back and play each one of those and see if I could beat any of them. And so there's a few still left unbeaten, which
I
can look up and see if there's anything cool that happens if you unlock all of them. But for the most part, I have beaten the game.
Yeah, you're over it.
Yeah. I have had my fun, and all that's left is the most frustrating things. So I'm not going to do that. It is my honor to tell you what we get to watch next time, because the time has finally come. We are in the end of 1987, which means it is time for me and Sam to get to watch one of our favorite Muppet things ever. And we know a lot of your favorite Muppet thing ever. The plural on that was wrong, but you know what I'm saying. Our next episode is going to be the last episode that comes out before Christmas this year. And so we are going to watch A Muppet Family Christmas.
I think it's going to hit different this time because I know the Fraggles now. I think that I'm going to be choked up when the Fraggles show up.
Yeah, I mean, even just Doc being there.
Yeah.
Is a whole other element to this now that we didn't have as much context for previously.
Right. And a bunch of Muppet Show guys we haven't seen in a dog's age.
And we'll also be joined by a special guest, comedian, podcaster, and Muppet Family Christmas superfan, Mike Falzone. So we need to thank our friend Tuna for making the music for this podcast and Cassie Wilson for singing our theme song. Don't forget that you can go to commitment.com for all your commitment needs. And you can rate this podcast anywhere you listen to it, preferably 5 stars. And you can email us at mail@commitment.com if you're a stilt walker. And you can follow this podcast everywhere on social media, including on Blue Sky, which seems to be the one that's winning.
I guess so.
Even though like a month ago we were talking about it on this podcast, it's like, I don't know about this Blue Sky.
I believed that the whole time.
To be fair, you were on the right side of history with that one. But you can find us there. I think it's at commitment.com if you go look for us on Blue Sky. And you can follow me at Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And as always, keep believing.
Keep pretending.